No black cats, just straight facts.
Triple P certified.
Listen, we can talk about odds all day. It doesn't matter what the odds are. It matters what's gonna happen.
Welcome to another episode of the Perfect Parlay Pursuit. This week, we are breaking down UFC's Noche Sphere, presented by His Excellence, Turkey a la Sheik. Luke, how are you doing today?
I prefer Turkey a la mode, but you know we'll talk about Turkey a la Sheik. We'll talk about turducken, maybe. We'll talk about a lot of different turkeys, guys. The one turkey you're not going to see here right now is Dan, because he's so much of a jive
turkey.
He can't even get his laptop working, but he'll be here in just a matter of seconds. If you're a Dan head, if you're a Daniac, don't worry, Dan will be here. He's coming. And we may have a very other special guest. I don't want to promise and not deliver, so we'll hold off on that. But there could be a very special guest joining, somebody who is in the college football world, somebody who's got a big fight coming up, and we'll get into that if they show. They them show. But we got a big card to break down. He's here, everybody. Daniacs rejoice. Danny the Betman is here. We're recording, Dan. So we're gonna break down UFC Noche Sphere, as Alex said. We're gonna do the 10-fight card for you, top to bottom, main card and prelims. Give you some early predictions. If you're looking for Brady versus Burns, we already gave you the full card prediction for Brady versus Burns last week. Super early for you. That episode's right there waiting for you. At the end of the episode, we'll touch on all the picks we gave last week, let you know if anything's changed. No fights have changed, inshallah. No fights have dropped off. So we that episode is still good to go. All those breakdowns are fresh, hot, ready to go, hot and ready. It's UFC. It's the Perfect Parlay Pursuit predictions episode, guys. This is the show where we try to predict a perfect parlay, but moreover, in year 5, as you can see, we have a little competition going. We all started with $1,000, a meager $1,000 bankroll to last us 52 weeks, and the goal being to turn your $1,000 bankroll into a tremendous amount of profits. The winner takes all, but we'll get into all that later. I mean, it's if you're not bereft of the year 5 competition by now, you know, maybe just pay attention, watch the old episodes. I don't know what to tell you. It's $1,000. We're going hard. Dan's down to 42. I'm above board. I have everything Alex lost on my side over here. The 400 Alex has lost has come over to me. They balance the books well, as you can see. But
hey, overall, Dan, don't worry. One day we'll all be wearing 42.
What's that mean? I don't know what that means. But
Jackie
anyway,
Robinson, baby. You wouldn't know.
Well, listen. I just didn't get the reference. I don't know what you're referring to. So, guys, Brains versus Birdie. Brains versus Birdie is this weekend, and I'm excited. I mean, I literally was just driving home from work in my car today, living my Truman Show existence. You know, I drive home from work, and I see the same nanny walking her two nanny kids. Right? I see the same grandma. No, not nice. And it's like it's a.
No, I said nanettes.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying like on my drive home from work, I pass the same people, the same like Papa John's deliveries are going out at the same time from the parking lot. Like it's the same drive home every day, to the point where I'm like, you start to feel like you're going a little crazy. You know what I mean? I'm just sitting there, and it's almost like you know what I feel like right now? I truly feel like Kenny Powers in season 3. I'm Kenny Powers season 3 when he's working at Enterprise Rent-A-Car and he's just driving home and the street racer pulls up next to him, and I'm 31. Speaking of 42, I'm 31. I see these kids in their souped up whips, and they're pulling up next to me, and they're revving their engines, and I'm in my fiance's mom mobile with their sorority stickers on the back, and I'm just looking at them like, if they only knew me in my heyday, and now look at me, little girl at home, another one on the way. I'm turning into a very caged beast right now, and thank God I have some UFC to gamble on this weekend. Hit a nice little parlay this Saturday on college football. It wet my beak enough to keep me alive, And then I had to, I had to fight my way out of a house party. I had to do 4 wrestling matches back to back. Won all of them, but I won all of them.
I don't know if you won all.
I dominated.
Especially if we're going off of UFC rules and damage applies, I don't think you look.
Well, if we're going off damage, my knees are completely scraped. But that's because I was the one doing the takedowns, not the one getting taken down. So listen, it was crazy. We had an all-nighter Saturday. There were tattoos. There was drinking. But it was relatively good, clean fun. We did a little bit of Jackbox. 5 guys in a room playing Jackbox ain't what it used to be, ain't what you might think it was. But it was much more good, clean fun than the name indicates. We weren't playing shoot the cookie. We were playing Jackbox. Okay. It was a fun time. Me and Dan were hanging out. It was a good time. We had some ribs. We bruised some ribs. We got it in. We had fun. But now it's back to gambling on UFC. It's what keeps me indoors. It's what keeps me from being out there, being a menace, causing a ruckus. And if you want to know more, join the Discord. If you want to know the rest, buy the rights, as the man says. What's that guy? What's that song? How bizarre! How bizarre! It was bizarre. It was a bizarre weekend. So UFC Sphere, UFC Noche. Like I said, we may have a special guest joining the show. It's 8 minutes past the scheduled time. Noticing my Instagram DM is still not seen, so I'm gonna go ahead and say, let's not hold our breath. We're gonna just get right into it. We're gonna get right. I'm gonna X out of all my tabs with the prepared research for our esteemed guests and the questions. Your boy Eric Anders was going to join the show yet again. He's standing us up yet again. The first time he had an excuse. The first time we could see from his Instagram story, he was on a plane. The flight was delayed. Yada yada yada. I messaged him yesterday. I said, "You want to cast tomorrow? 15 minutes. We'll talk about the fight, the Weidman fight." And he went a little bit viral, saying that he has stopped abusing drugs and is more focused than ever. I saw it hitting all the MMA thumbnail clickbait accounts that pop up on my YouTube algorithm. You got MMA Focus, MMA. What's the other one? MMA Focus. What's the other one that we watch? Full Mount MMA, or what is it? Full Mount MMA, MMA Focus. They all were picking up his story, and I was excited to ask him the question we're all wondering. Hey, I saw that you said you stopped abusing drugs. I didn't see that it said you stopped using drugs. So I'm hoping that you have achieved symbiosis, an equal balance, like the scales. I hope that you're weighing it out equally now and everything's just fine. But we might not get the chance to ask him that, guys. And as we know, Ryan Garcia, John Jones, sometimes the best base for MMA and boxing and combat sports is abusing drugs. It's not necessarily, ceasing. And honestly, it's like I kind of hope that some of these guys are just abusing the right kind of drugs: EPO, testosterone, HGH, like the big 3, right? That's the ones I want to see them on. I am libertarian when it comes to drugs and when it comes to athletes. Friendly reminder: Barry Bonds, steroids just made him go from hitting 400-foot home runs to 450-foot home runs. Okay, so, and I stole that from some girl on TikTok. I saw it as circulating.
Lady.
Yeah, it's easier to market. If we know from the Athena May era that it's easier to market when you got a girl when you're feeding it to a girl. I still hope
that did numbies.
That did numbies. I don't want a dead name, so I will not refer to her as Athena May anymore. But still a CPF, still a close personal friend. Begging her to be on the show all the time. She still takes my calls, still takes my DMs. So I mean, I don't want a dead name because she's out of the industry. She's out. So I don't want a dead name. But
well, don't say her live name either.
That's the thing. I don't want to doctor their real name. So I'm like, well, I don't know what to call her now anymore. So in terms of our audience and everything like that. But if you know, if you're a longtime fan of the show, you remember the Hawaii era, you remember the Athena May era, you remember the falling out. There turbulent times in the show. It was really some of my best memories in hindsight. But any news, any hot topics you guys want to talk about before we jump into the Sphere? Because there's some big news with the Sphere and some big controversies, some goings on, some happenings. What's going on in your guys' world? Let's slow it down a little bit. Dan, how you doing? How you feeling? You recovered yet off of the multi-beer weekend we had?
Very much so recovered. I felt pretty good, even throughout. It wasn't even a bad day at all. No, no comings downs. So doing pretty well. I feel like there's not much to share. We had the same weekend, so a little bit of college football here, a little bit of work there, this and that, but it's all good. Finally get the scratch of UFC gambling. And I actually like this weekend a lot. I'm very, very confident. I feel like I got like 8 locked in the bag. Just got to get those other 3 or 4, whether it's 11 or 12 fight card. And to get those down, we're looking at a big weekend.
I was up with the sun Sunday morning. I walked out of the Airbnb Sunday morning, and when I say I was up with the sun, I never went down. I was going
to say, I
was up all day long.
Never went down.
It's like when you see the sun poking in at 6 a.m, I had a choice.
I ain't hear no bell.
I'm like, you know what? I could either, it's 6 a.m. I could go to sleep now until noon, or I could just leave. I was like, but I did clean the entire Airbnb before I left. Did you see that? Did you notice that?
It was okay. I mean, like it was
okay. I cleaned everything. I bagged up all the garbage.
It was more like condensed trash. It wasn't like clean. You didn't take a duster to the place.
But you don't have to. You pay a cleaning for that.
Let me get all the cans together.
I put all the dishes in the dishwasher. I put all the cans in the garbage.
How many dishes were those? The paper plate bevy we had over the weekend. How many dishes could there be?
Oh man, this disappoints me. I was like, you if you knew, I'm like, these guys are gonna be so fucking happy with what I've done. I even like took everybody's stuff and like put them into nice, neat little piles.
I'll be honest.
It went under.
Hold on. I was appreciative, but it felt like the most concern came from the fact of the taking out. Bringing things to cars. That was what was weighing heavy on people's minds. I didn't care. I had very little carry on. But, for the rest of them, it was like, wow, all this stuff we have to get from our cars to the place. I heard no thanks, no recognition of your efforts, to be honest. I'm just being honest as a friend. No recognition whatsoever.
This is what I need to know.
Yeah. It's not hyperbole. Nobody said a thing.
Dude, that's so disappointing. Like, I took an extra 30 minutes in the morning. I'm like, these guys are they're gonna wake up. They're gonna be like, oh my god, the cleaning fairy came and just cleaned up everything.
No. You need to directly text them and say, hey, real recognize real. I cleaned up a lot. So if you want your comeuppance, you got to go straight to them. Nothing happened.
Well. Yeah, I mean that is a little disappointing. I'll never do it again. But I liked it. I was having fun because like when you're up when it's a 6 a.m. all nighter and you're sitting there and you're like all the fun is gone. You're like, oh, I know what would be fun. I'll just clean this entire place.
You get a little dopamine kick out of the fact that like you're doing the Mike Tyson method of I'm running at 4:30 when the other guys are sleeping. You get that little kick. I'm doing something. There's progress being made.
I tell you, there was this incessant dripping coming from the basement shower. I even went down there and fixed and turned the knob so that the dripping stopped.
Did you take a shower?
Well, it was because of me. I was the one who took a shower. But I'm saying like,
hold on. The only thing that was brought up of you, which now we know it's you, was somebody took a shower purely with hand soap.
That was the only soap that was there. That was the only soap that was there.
The only recognition of you is some asshole took a shower with hand soap.
Listen, I did 4 wrestling matches in a row, and I was covered in my sweat and the sweat of the others. My knees were scraped, so I had to scrub out the cuts, and so I had to get down there and shower. I had to do that, but there was no soap, so I just used the hand soap. I did use the hand soap.
Okay, well, people found it weird. No, not a peep about the clean Airbnb, but the hand soap.
I found it weird. All right, let's not divulge too much, but okay. UFC the Sphere. Whose voice is that? Mark Wahlberg. The Sphere. When you come to Boston, first thing you want to go do is go check out the Sphere. We also have Contender Series tonight. And I've hit 2 perfect parlays in the Contender Series in 3 events. So I am looking to bet that as this show is going on. I didn't place my bets, but I did do some research, and I do need to get those in.
Do you know anything about the Jack dude with the Afro, Castellanos?
He is a first-round knockout guy, and he's fighting a Korean guy. I'm assuming the Korean guy gets knocked out, but the Afro guy has what's called fought only bums. So the Korean guy, if he's any good, maybe it'll be a second-round knockout, not a first.
That's the value. There's the value right there.
Yeah, maybe the over 1.5, maybe a little bit of that. So one bout that did get rescheduled off the Sphere that would have literally, so the UFC is actually struggling. They're struggling to They're struggling to get tickets sold for this event. They have 3,000 seats left available at my list. Can you believe that? And I mean, like they minimize the minimum price. The minimum entry was like $1,600.
Is it just me, or is this card kind of mid? Like, not to sound like a zoomer with its terminology, but it seems very, as far as pay-per-views go, mid.
Yeah, if you mean middle America, you're right. You could throw a rock at this card and you'd hit a Mexican somewhere.
Well, but that's the thing. You know, once Dana White said, like, so, okay, it's on Canelo Alvarez weekend. I get that, right? It's on, and even Sugar Sean, his wife is Mexican. So, like, the main event, I guess that's how they're kind of tying it in there. He's got a Mexican child.
Him and Merab both claim Mexican.
Yeah, exactly, which is kind of funny. Like, I get that that's kind of like an underground joke they have, but it's funny that the UFC goes, I got it. You know how Merab, when he fought Cejudo, was like, I'm the real Mexican? And you know how Sugar Sean has a half Mexican child? That's what we'll do. It's like, guys, that's not like, that doesn't actually like make them Mexican. Like, I don't know.
I would beg to differ. I would say that does make Sean O'Malley Mexican. And anybody else who does the same will also be the same.
He might not have any Mexican in him, but he did get in a little Mexican. So, well, the Contender Series doesn't start till 8, so we got an hour there for me to get these bets in. But, guys, it's going to be hype. It's going to be a good card anyway. I mean, there are some good fights. One fight that did fall off that would have got me to buy one of the last 3,000 tickets. Michelle Pereira versus Fluffy Hernandez was supposed to be on this card. That would have gotten me to buy it. I would have been there. And I have a wedding coming up, so I could have easily kind of finagled this as like a bachelor party, a wedding present kind of thing. I did even think about that. I did think about kind of saying like, look, I don't want a bachelor party. I just want, a ticket to go to the Sphere with a couple boys, and we'll call it even at that. That would have been enough, but for me. But once I kind of saw the price and the offering, I was like, nah. I was like,
but how great would it be to take mushrooms at the Sphere, watch him fight? That would be an all-time experience right there. That'd be nutty.
Yeah, but how do you even do the logistics? That's a logistical nightmare.
I've seen it and knocked up. It doesn't seem all that hard.
I don't know. It seems like a logistical nightmare. The timing of it all seems to be borderline impossible. Also, I'm drug free. So the thing is, like, the main event just isn't hardy enough. If it was like John Jones, if it was like, I don't even know.
Michael Bisping.
We'll get to that.
I think the main event is fine. It's just the rest of the card.
Yeah, to me, I kind of felt like Dana was kind of, okay, so they're doing it on Canelo Alvarez weekend, which is why it almost doesn't make sense to make it a all Mexico card. It's like, what do you think the Mexican fan base is going to choose, Canelo or mid-tier UFC fighters? It's not like you have like Cain Velasquez or, even a Brandon Moreno. Like, there's no male champion on the card that's Mexican. Diego Lopes is great to us hardcore fans, but I don't think that there's too many like, Mexican UFC fans that are like, I got to see my boy Diego Lopes yet. Maybe in the future, yeah, but he hasn't. Just because he's had a few good fights in the UFC doesn't mean that everybody knows who he is now. It's like they almost kind of fooled themselves into thinking that the fights are what makes people pay attention. It's like, no, it's the extracurriculars a lot of the time that make the casual fan kind of take note. Whereas Canelo is a much more established Mexican athlete.
I just want like also themed cards where it's like, remember the Alamo in San Antonio where it's all USA versus Mexico fighters. Like, I want more of this type of thing and not just like, we only do it for Mexicans now, I think, for the UFC. I mean, yeah, there are France cards where it's stacked with France people. Yeah, there are Britain cards where it's stacked. When do us Americans get to have fun, huh? When can we just get a all hearty boy card with all the American hearty boys?
Yeah, I'm kind of with that. I don't know. It felt like I was getting the wool pulled over my eyes. It felt like I was there to like Dana was almost like, we'll build it for the Mexican audience, but we'll really need the hardcore, hardcore guys to come in and pick up the slack when half the Mexican fans end up at the Canelo fight, And I'm like, it'd be one thing if it was like, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of Mexican fighters in the card, but he's like, when Dana said this is going to be a love letter to Mexico, I'm like, well, okay. I mean, like, I love Mexico and everything. Great country, never met them, but you know, never been personally. But yeah. What do you think? I mean, it's like they could have got me there. They really could have gotten me there, and they kind of like dropped the ball at several different intervals in making me seem like, no, Luke, you're not actually who we're looking for here. You know?
And also, it's like people are saying like, oh, it's gonna be at the Sphere. It's gonna be so cool. That's only cool for the people who are gonna be there. It's not gonna be cool for me. Like us watching, it's probably not gonna be all that cool.
Yeah.
But everyone like hyping it up, for most of them, I would say, are not even gonna be there.
Well, yeah, I would say most people in general are not going to be there.
But everyone's the way they're saying it, it's like, oh, dude, it's gonna be at the Sphere. It's gonna be so cool. Oh, you have tickets? No. Well, it's not gonna be cool for you then.
How many people does the Sphere even seat? Is it in the round? Is it in the? is it a half? Is it in the round? Are they going to have a rotating octagon? Same as the Apex?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No.
You're kidding.
No, it's obviously more, but
well, I don't know. You could fit a lot of heads in the Apex. I really do believe that if they just put in appropriate seating. You could probably fit 10,000 people in the Apex.
Eric Andres is writing his love letter to us. He's saying, yeah, I can't make it.
Dude,
yeah, where's my love letter, Dana? Where's my love letter? Where's my love letter? I've been here all along. I didn't need to see an American champion to be able to love the sport. I loved the sport. I actually loved predominantly non-American champions. I loved Anderson Silva. I loved GSP. Love BJ Penn. Hawaii is not America. Luke, you can attest to that.
Oh yeah, no, the Hawaiians will tell you that. The real Hawaiians will tell you that. But like we've talked about, remember before when we were kind of saying like, what fight could the UFC make for UFC 300 that would be like making us salivate for, right? And
I would say John Jones versus Stipe. That's probably the best. That's probably the best show you're going to get this year.
And you know what part of that is? It's the allure of the fact that we haven't seen Stipe in a very long time. A lot of people will use that as a reason to not want to see this fight, but it's almost like when it comes to heavyweights and when it comes to former champs and when it comes to retirement fights and comeback fights and things like that, the allure is kind of in like the fact that they're this like ominous figure looming in the darkness, or like we don't know what we're going to get. Like half of it is in the anticipation of a mystery. And what's more anticipatory than somebody who hasn't fought in many, many years, right?
They put together a great highlight package of him piecing up DC, which ties in with John. I'm hyped for it. I mean, I'm assuming it's happening in November at MSG.
And the other thing is, and anybody who says they're not hyped for John versus Stipe, let me say this. What if I told you Stipe got a torn ACL and was out, and they were bringing in Brock Lesnar? You'd be more excited, and Brock has not fought in a longer amount of time. You'd be more fucking excited if Brock Lesnar was going to come. I'll do you one better. If they said Fedor Emelianenko was going to come back and fight, you would be more excited on a guy who has lost and not fought in longer, right? We'll get into that.
Everybody can't get Fedor's cock out of their mouth. That's why.
Whoa. Jeez.
Greatest of all time, my ass.
You know, even Ngannou, right? If it was Ngannou coming back to fight John Jones, you'd be more excited than Stipe. And Ngannou just got knocked out 4 times over by Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
So
I think that's justified, though. I think the Ngannou-Jones fight is justifiably more exciting than Stipe Jones.
I was the guy making those fights. John Jones never said no.
UFC 306, O'Malley versus Dvalishvili. We got a big card to break down. A small card, but a big card nonetheless. You know, what really got me is when Dana said that, you know, he's $16 to $20 million in on this event, right? Which they'll make that back in the gate. Like, they'll make that back in the people paying for tickets, even if they don't sell the last 3,000. However, actually, they might come a little bit short if they don't sell the last 3,000, but they will. They will. Or Dana White will give him to Machine Gun Kelly, and he'll give him to fucking Fat Slob. What's his name? Fat Slobahan. What's his name?
DJ Khaled?
Jelly Roll.
Jelly roll.
He'll give him to Jelly Roll. He'll give him to Theo Vaughn. He'll give him to Steve-O and the Nelk Boys. Like, I can name 3,000 fucking of those Dana White fucking roaches that hang onto his nuts more than I can name 3,000 of my friends who will show up and watch the fight. So we're drinking this episode. It's an early predictions episode. Check back in with us next week where we give you a recap of Burns versus Brady, but also we'll go through this card again with a fine-tooth comb, see if anything's got added, see if any opinions have changed leading up to the fight. But for now, nice 10-fight offering. Let's take it bottom to top and break down UFC 306 O'Malley versus Dvalishvili. We're going to start from the bottom. We're going to ease into this. Joshua get in the van versus Edgar Chairez, 125-pound matchup. You guys will remember Joshua Van last time out fought Charles Johnson. I was on an island by myself. I picked Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson knocked his ass out in the third round with the uppercut. That was 1 month ago. Meanwhile, Edgar Chairez, 6 months ago, submitted Daniel Lacerda with a triangle, arm triangle choke. Daniel Lacerda, who I said, looks like at one point I said Daniel Lacerda, he looked like he could be the next Conor McGregor. And that was when he that was a
loss.
That was when he lost his first fight that was when he lost his second fight in the UFC. He has not won a fight in the UFC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights in a row. 6 if you count the premature stoppage against the same guy, Edgar Chairez. So in addition to beating Daniel Lacerda, he has lost a decision to Tatsuya Taira, who obviously we all have a lot of respect for. 13-0 Japanese prospect. Tatsuya Taira may be the first Japanese UFC champion. Gianni, other than that, he's got no fights in the UFC. So we will.
This fight was just announced today, too. Chairez was originally slated for Borjas as recently as 2:00 today, Eastern.
Yeah. And Joshua Van, I said it before, I'll say it again. Just something about him that I wasn't willing to get on. So he took Kevin Borjas to a decision. And that was going to be Chairez's original opponent, right? So you can tell the UFC, they want to start the Mexican audience off with a Mexican win. So what do? They say, okay, we'll take a guy that went to decision, a guy that we have data on against the guy you were training for. And he's coming off a knockout a month ago. So I think they're trying to give Chairez this fight. I think Chairez is here to get this win. He missed weight by 6 pounds last time out. He's going to have a 7-inch reach advantage, 2 inches of height. And there's no line out for this one just yet, as far as Tapology says. But I'm going to go, me personally, this is a tough one. What do you guys think?
I mean, this is a fresh one, so I don't really have any notes. I will say I was going to go with Borjas. I do think that Borjas looked better against tougher competition than Chairez looked against Daniel Lacerda, who hasn't lasted more than a round or a round and a half in the UFC. Although Luke thinks he's Conor McGregor, the next coming. But, it's tough to say with Josh Van coming off of a knockout less than a month ago, right? Or a month and a half ago. You were out of training for at least 3 weeks. That was a pretty brutal knockout, too. This is at 125, so you don't necessarily have to worry about the power as much. I love Josh Van. I think he's got cleaner, crisper, smoother striking. If Chairez misses weight, though, he's a world beater, as we saw against Lacerda. I'm going to go with Joshua Van, but I don't feel great about it, especially coming so soon off of a knockout. But he is the better fighter. It's just a matter of, did he take enough time to recover from that devastating knockout less than a month and a half ago? But other than that, he's a way better fighter, so I got to go with him.
Josh Van was knocked out the night of the Trump assassination attempt. And, if you follow along with things, then that was years ago. That was so long ago. It doesn't even matter anymore. So Josh Van is crisp as can be. I think he's, as you were saying, Alex, a much more polished fighter. I like him in the bounce back spot, too. I think he's just that talented. And he's so super young. What is this guy, like 22, 23 years old? And he's still shown to octagon IQ and maturity. So I'm going to go with Josh Van here. Big bounce back.
Dan, speaking of politics, I just want to publicly endorse Joe Biden. I think that he's going to do a great job leading the country again. He did a great job the last 4 years. I have nothing to complain about. And say what you want about him, but he's sharp as a tack. I think that he goes toe to toe with anyone. So I'm publicly endorsing Joe Biden right now. Can't wait for the next 4 years, baby.
Way to go.
Eric Anders update. So I said I'll read you guys the whole exchange. WannaCast tomorrow, 15 minutes. We're doing the Sphere card early predictions, and we can talk about your upcoming fight. Sure, when is good for you? How's 7:30 p.m. Eastern? That's what I said.
The Eastern Western paradigm.
I said how's 7:30 p.m. Eastern? He said 6:30 work. I said that works. We'll drop the link here at 6:15. Thank you.
6:30 his time.
I sent him the link. He said, and he just went, my time, right?
Yeah, it's your time, baby.
But wait, you just said want to go now, or is it over?
Okay.
I said we can go now, join whenever. All right, so Eric Anders will be here shortly. We're going to talk to him a little bit about his upcoming fight. Talk to him a little about his drug-free journey. And yes, so that was the issue there. We
definitely got to ask about Nick Saban retiring. Are you kidding me?
No Alabama talk at all. Don't bring it up even once.
Cool. Well, in the meantime, while we wait, do a little Raul.
Dan, I don't give a piss about number the Tide.
We got Raul Rosas Jr. versus Aoriqileng. This is an interesting one. Bantamweight fight, 135 pounds. Raul Rosas Jr. stands 5'9". His opponent 5'7", but he will be the one with a 2-inch reach advantage if we're to believe Tapology. 31-year-old versus a 19-year-old. Huge, 11-year, 12-year age disparity. The Chinese fighter is going to be coming off the unintentional groin strike job against Daniel Marcos. Before that, he had a win against Johnny Munoz Jr. Before that, he got knocked out by Ayman Zahabi. The only blemish on Raul Rosas Jr.'s record is to Christian Rodríguez by decision. And other than that, he has back-to-back finish wins, a KO of Terrence Mitchell, and a submission by Ricky Tercios. What do you guys think about this one? Alex, you're muted.
Didn't C-Rod miss by 6 pounds in that fight that he beat Raul Rosas Jr.?
That's a good question. Let's go back and check. But if Tapology is believed, he missed weight by 2.5 pounds. 137.5 is what he weighed in at.
Okay, not too bad. But he missed weight 3 fights in a row, I think, at that point, and then he bumped up. Anyway, I'm going to go with Raul Rosas Jr. I think Aoriqileng is a bit of a jobber. I like him. I think that he can go in there and make it tough sometimes. But other times, I just feel like he's in there to get the job done and get his paycheck, and happy to do so. So as much as I like Aoriqileng, I think this is a perfect opportunity where he sees the writing on the walls. Literally, it's going to be all over the place in the Sphere. He's going to literally see the writing on the walls. They want this young Mexican stud to beat the shit out of me. I gotta get out of here quick.
Getting out of here quick, Alex. Get out of here quick with that take. Eric Anders is moving up, everybody. Welcome to the show, Eric Anders. At a football game. Good, Eric.
All right, hold on. Let me.
Mario Gibbs in on the stop for the Bucks.
My kid's football game.
Second down.
Oh, Eric, you know what, Eric?
Bluetooth into my phone.
Eric, dude, we can reschedule. I messed up the time. That's my bad. We can totally push this to next week.
Whoa. Let me see if I can get this on my headphones.
Don't even fret. We can totally reschedule. Because I want to get you fired up. I want to ask you about some shit that you can't get yelling about at that football game.
Man, you're crazy. I be saying some wild stuff at these games.
I believe it. Well, listen, I don't want to take attention.
It's up to you. If you want me to come next week, it's no problem.
This will be a good little teaser. We'll have you come next week. I don't want you to miss your kid's game for this. The show ain't nothing important.
I appreciate it, brother.
You're the man. Thank you.
Right, good luck.
Best of luck.
Oh, yeah,
what a guy.
I didn't know he was at a football game. That was good ambiance in the background, though. That would have been tight.
Yeah.
I want to get him fucking riled up and yelling about Chris Weidman. I can't do that with him at a football game like that. You know what I mean? I'm going to, and God forbid, I can't. No. I can't be the reason he's missing out on his son catching a game-winning touchdown or making a amazing tackle or something like that. I don't know what position.
Would have been great content. His kid scores a winning touchdown. He's freaking out.
Dude.
He starts.
But at least the audience knows I'm not just completely bullshitting. You know what I mean?
He's going to go back. He's going to be like, yeah, Kevin, boom, I can meet right now. And then his kid's going to get a touchdown during that game. He's going to be like, sorry, I already told the PPP boys, Kevin. And he's like, the PPP boys just stiffed me on an interview. Kevin, I'm here. What the heck? We can get back on what the heck now. Okay. And then his kid scores a touchdown and, Mike Heck or Joe Bohm. Who are these guys? I don't know any of their names. Fully. I know some of them. I know half of the name. Both of them. Mike Bohm, is that his name?
Mike
Yeah,
Bohm?
so.
Yeah,
No
he's
free-
like
no free publicity for our rivals here.
he's like the Canadian sweet boy who's like, yeah, so Robert Whittaker, how was it exactly when you
I like Mike Bohm. He's fine compared to some of these guys. You know what I mean?
Dude, he's a fucking like Izzy Robert crotch sniffer like no other. Oh, how was it exactly? Like, do you ever think you and Izzy will become friends now that the rivalry's kind of
I
dead?
like Mike Bohm. It's Oscar Willits who can go fuck himself. That's my.
Oh, Oscar Willits. And he actually fights. So that's a pencil neck that you can call out. He's fought before. That's a pencil neck you can call out to the unified rules right there, Oscar Willits.
He wouldn't dare.
Let's see if God Willits for you.
Dude, Oscar Willits would not fucking dare. Okay, he's fighting guys who are so handpicked. You know what I mean? It's like he wouldn't ever say my name, dude. Trust me on that. We still got Tyson Charrier shaking in his boots. I'm trying to fry bigger fish. I'm trying to fry bigger fish than Oscar Fish and Chips Willis. I'm trying to fry Tyson New England Clam Chowder Chartier over here. You know? It'll be the red, not the white, when I'm done with them.
Oh yeah, whatever that means.
Where'd Dan go? All right, so we got
Torres versus Bahamondes.
We didn't finish this one. So Raul Rosas Jr. Yeah, I mean, if you want me to sit here and be the smartest man in the room, if you want me to sit here and be the guy, the fucking man in the suit over here, I could sit here and say the Mongolian monster is 31 and he is a seasoned competitor with 11 losses, and he's gonna, be a very tough out for the veteran. He's only 31. He's not old. And
is this your fireball pick of the night?
Hell no. This is not my fireball pick of the night. I'm going obviously with Raul Rosas Jr. He'll be minus 1,000 for no reason. Because granted, this is an on paper, Anthony Smith match. This is on paper, Aoriqileng should have no trouble beating a 19-year-old kid with 10 fights. But, Raul Rosas Jr. might only have 10 fights. But this guy's got 11 losses. So, we're gonna go with Raul Rosas Jr. Like you said, the writing is on the wall.
Triple P certified Raul Rosas Jr. I was flirting with the Aoriqileng pick. I really was. But at the end of the day, I think, I don't know, Aoriqileng, he's going to throw a wild punch. That's going to be his puncher's chance, but it'll put him in a bad position. The kid will get a good jiu-jitsu positionally and get it done from there. So, too chalky, but it is.
And by the way, if you think I'm still not putting Eric Anders in the thumbnail, you guys are crazy. I'm gonna take a piss. Take us through the next.
Mate, you're taking the piss. It's
you're taking the piss.
Miguel Torres versus Iggy Bahamondes. Is his name Miguel, or am I getting him confused with the famous boxer Miguel Cotto?
I believe it's Manuel.
Manuel, so close. Well, Dan, I am going with Manuel. So here's why. I think both of these guys, I think the world of both of these guys, right? Like, I think both of these guys are great to watch, fun to watch. I love these guys. There's never been two better guys I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to take Torres. And here's why. I think that Bahamondes is a bit more of an exhibitionist. And I don't necessarily think he's got the same killer instinct as Manuel Torres. you saw what Torres did to Christian Leroy, not Duncan. Or what's that guy's name?
Chris Duncan.
Chris Duncan. That's it. I was close. I was on the right path. They're both from Europe with very similar names. So Chris Duncan, he dispatched to Chris Duncan like Chris Duncan was last week's fucking newspaper. Okay, he forgot all about him. 2 seconds. I just think he's got more of that killer instinct in him. He's going to pull the trigger. He's more well-rounded than Iggy Bahamondes, who has a lot of flashy strikes. And it will be super exciting no matter what. I think this is one of these fights that is going to be vicious through and through, no matter where it is. The ground, standing, I think Torres is vicious in both spots. I think Bahamondes throws crazy shit, but I think that Torres is going to be the guy who bites down on the mouthpiece, makes it an absolute dogfight, and takes it to Iggy Bahamondes. So I'm going with Torres on this one. I think he wins by submission. I think Raul Rosas Jr. also wins by submission, and I think that Josh Van wins by unanimous decision. Dan, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I definitely could see how it would be a toss-up in many people's eyes. I like Bahamondes a little bit more. I think Torres could be a little bit more like knockout reliant than Bahamondes. In other words, I think Bahamondes has more ways to win. He's certainly shown himself to have a very good chin. I'm looking here. Doesn't look like he's ever been knocked out. Still young. I just think more diversity in his strikes is going to pay off a lot for him. Being more elusive, moving laterally. And, I like Torres
long,
a lot.
too.
Very long, ridiculously long. And, has a all-time highlight of the year knockout win resume. So I'm going to go with Bahamondes. I'm liking this.
Dan, I have a question. I saw Bahamondes is training out of Chicago now. Do you know if he's been linking up with Bilal Muhammad? Yeah.
That'd be amazing if he was.
Yeah, so Alex, he is.
Okay. I think this changes things.
Gets a little rub.
Yeah. A guy in your gym touches gold. It becomes a lot more reasonable for you to get it. Just like, Leon Edwards saw Michael Bisping do it. Aspinall saw Leon do it. Yeah, I think that changes things. I'm going to go with Bahamondes. And instead of the killer instinct for Torres, I'm going to go with the championship mindset
There he is.
of Bahamondes.
Nice.
I'm still sticking with the killer instinct. For some reason, Torres is calling my name. It's screaming it at me. It's shouting very loudly. I love his knockouts.
I'm back on Torres.
Yeah, I like Torres here. I think Torres is going to get the win. I think, but for me, now correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think Bahamondes has been out a while. Just what I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. But let's see. His last fight was 4 months ago. No, I'm wrong. He has only fought twice.
Fought last quarter.
Yeah, sooner than Torres. Why does it feel like Torres fought really recently? Bahamondes is the more active fighter of the two.
Torres had a great win. That was the Duncan fight, right? No.
Yes.
That was no. He had a big knockout, I feel like.
Mata.
It was Mata, right? The one before it?
2 before.
Yeah, that was
He also rocked the fuck out of Chris Duncan and choked him out in a minute and 48 seconds.
And Camacho.
a lot of finishes.
Yeah. No, I like that Torres, he's got 7 knockouts and 7 submissions. Bahamondes, you look at him, all knockouts, right? All knockouts. I think that he's just not, to me, I don't think Bahamondes is as
Torres
scary.
is only 2 loss or by leg lock, and I've never seen Bahamondes ever try anything of the sort.
All these guys that Torres is facing is stiff as a board. You got Chris Duncan, Nicholas Mata, Frank Camacho. Like this is a true test and a different test in Bahamondes than what Torres has been seeing.
You know what it is that I see? When Bahamondes strikes, he's gangly. He's leaving a lot of space. Torres is the crisper guy, the tighter guy. You know what I mean? The
And he's Mexican, bro. He's gonna bite down on the mouthpiece, get in there, and fucking throw 3 to get hit by 1.
You guys are swaying me a little bit. I mean,
I'm going back to Torres. Yeah, I mean the Bilal Muhammad thing got me for a second, but then I realized Bilal Muhammad sucks.
And look who and granted, this was what Bahamondes is a young guy, even younger in his career. But what happened? John McDessie, split decision, loss. Klein, unanimous decision, loss. Klein is like a short, stockier guy. I think kind of presents a little bit of the same things I'm talking about in terms of stopping power and tightness. Wrong Zhu. It took him until round 3 to submit Wrong Zhu. Giagos has 11 losses. This is going to be a big step up in competition from what I think Bahamondes has been facing. So for that reason, I'm going with Torres. It's a big step up in competition for both.
There's a dog barking. Hold on.
You don't even have a dog.
Yeah, what? Wolf?
Yasmin Jauregui versus Ketlen Souza. Yasmin Uruguay. I know her name, guys. I just like to say Jauregui. 25-year-old versus 29-year-old. 2 bad girls. Really like both these girls. Ketlen Souza got knee bar submitted by Karine Silva. Coming off a decision win against Marnik, man. Meanwhile, Yasmin Jauregui, decision win against Sam Hughes. Now, 2 fighters that you might classify in kind of the same boat, right? Sam Hughes, commanding, demanding, earning respect. Whereas Sam Hughes was almost a laughable name to say, Sam Hughes, coming in every time, plus 500 favorite, plus 300 or plus 500 underdog, plus 300 underdog. In her last fight, she was only like a plus 130 underdog. Managed to get the fucking win against the cute Russian blonde fighter, whose name is not important now. But she was actually the only underdog to win that night. So I kind of give Uruguay a little bit more respect with that win than I do Ketlen Souza over Marnik Man. Give me Jauregui. I think she's a little bit looser, a little bit faster, a little bit less stiff. I think more ways to kind of look better. I think that Souza could be like landing some more damaging shots, and it'll depend how this fight will come down to decision. It'll come down to how are you looking at it, right? People will be upset no matter what the outcome, but I'm gonna ride with Jauregui. I think she's kind of like who's the girl who just fought against Angela Hill?
Tabitha Ricci.
I see Ricci things from Uruguay. Close fighter, keeps it close, but gets the nod.
Uruguay, definitely a lot of wrestling going on. At minus 455, that's a pretty steep price for a lady fight, even in my books. So I'm going to be careful, but I'm going to also agree with you. I'm believing in the hype train. Ketlen Souza, you broke down the 2-fight UFC record. You're decisioning Marnik Man, and you're getting knee barred. Now you're going up against a wrestler who's like a really striving prospect here. So,
and a wrestler, but Astilia Nunes, who I'm actually thinking of. Who I'm thinking of when I say Astilia Nunes? I'm thinking of
Denise Gomez.
I'm thinking of Denise Gomez. No. I'm thinking of who's the girl who fought and punched the girl in the eye, and the girl called her own foul. Who's that girl?
Oh, wait.
The girl who looks like Waluigi.
No. The girl who she fought against the favorite. She fought against a couple cards ago.
Oh.
Little girl fights big girls, walks them down.
Katrina Silva.
No. The girl who, guys, comment if you know. The girl, she's like the little tiny girl.
Cavalcante.
Hannah Cyphers.
No. Who's the little tiny girl who fought the big Asian girl? She fights the big girls. She's always David versus Goliath.
You're thinking of Josie Nunes.
Josie Nunes. I'm thinking of Josie. Little Josie. Yeah.
I
Okay,
wouldn't describe her as little, tiny, and cute the way you were describing her.
No, I didn't say cute.
I would.
I didn't say cute, but she's always in those David versus Goliath matchups. And I was sitting here thinking when I saw Nunes, I was like, oh, like if she knocked her out, like that girl can get hit with a fucking baseball bat and she doesn't go out. But no, that's not who I was thinking of. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Yasmin Uruguay here, but it'll be a close fight, and I don't really want much to do with this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think this fight's a lot closer than the line indicates. Uruguay has holes, fact, but they all do in the women's divisions. They have multiple holes. It's even one right behind the knee, if you ask Glenn Quagmire. Anywho, I'm going to go with Uruguay here, but it's actually... I'll take us off of the triple P certification because I do think this is close. And I do think Uruguay, I think you guys are getting Uruguay confused. I don't think she's much of a wrestler whatsoever. She has, a bunch of first round knockouts.
That Dan was wrong about that. She's not a wrestler.
Yeah, you guys are completely thinking of you guys are thinking of the wrong person. She don't know nothing about no wrestling.
It's ground and pound knockouts.
She does have a ground and pound. She does have one ground and pound knockout. She does a couple doctor stoppages. The rest say KO, and if I remember these correctly, they were KOs.
She could do it all.
But it wasn't Combate Global. So, and contrary to popular belief, Combate Global, not very global. It's mostly Mexico.
She's one of those girls who you just want to pick her up and pretend to throw her into a pool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
you risk control. And you want to like hold her over the pool and be like, "I'm gonna throw you in." And she's like, "No, don't throw me in the pool." Cute as a
this other chick, you ain't throwing in no pool.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll go with Ketlen Souza just to get us off of a triple P certification. But
you try to throw Ketlen Souza into a pool, she's gonna fucking stab you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like Yasmin has very smellable hair. Would you agree?
100%.
In the topology picture, like whatever she's got
Ketlen Souza has a damn tattoo on her neck.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's a Cody Garbrandt tattoo on her neck. It's not like a little like cute thing under her ear. It's a Cody Garbrandt, CTE tattoo.
Too stiff, but powerful. Let's move on. Irene Aldana, Norma Dumont.
The battle between being too stiff and making too stiff. All right, go on.
One thing I'll say about Irene Aldana is she is training with Diego Lopes. She is training with Alexa Grasso. However, whereas Diego Lopes is in Alexa Grasso's corner, he called Irene Aldana his teammate. He said, "Our teammate Irene Aldana is fighting on this card." He didn't say like she was an afterthought. You know what I mean? So I think that says something. That was big when Diego said that. That was huge actually for me when he said our teammate Irene Aldana trains on. It wasn't like, and our sister Irene Aldana, who's in there with us, putting the blood, sweat, and tears on the mat with us. It was our teammate, and it could have been just a translation language barrier thing. But for me, I'll never really forgive that quit job, that throwaway fight she had with Amanda Nunes. I really thought that she could go in there and give Amanda Nunes what for at UFC 289. I personally was disappointed in that. It looked to me like the cartel had came to her house in Mexico and said, she's on her little motorcycle. You're a single woman living in a nice big house in Mexico. You're riding a Ducati. You're riding a Kawasaki Ninja. And you're telling me the cartel just lets you be. They just let you be. Oh, everybody else, the tourists from America, they're getting tied up. They're getting their tongues pulled through their mouth. They're getting their heads put on a turtle. You know what I mean? A tortuga, if you will. But you're telling me Irene Aldana just has her night. I saw her house in the pre-fight build-up to the Nunes fight. I saw her house. It was a standalone, big, nice, pretty modular home sitting right there, middle of nowhere, Mexico. You're telling me she just lives there all by herself. And nobody ever pulls up to her and says, "You're going to lose this fight, but you're going to lose by decision." Because betting Amanda Nunes by finish would have been minus 115. Betting Amanda Nunes by decision would have been probably plus 350. So Something tells me there was a little bit of invisible hand guidance, and the invisible hand had a tattoo on it that said "Blomo y Blata." You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I think she fixed the fight. This is a heavy allegation. My sources, it's a rumor, allegedly, no accusation, but I think the cartel came up to her house, stuck a toothpick in her fucking Ducati tire. And they said, next time it'll be a crowbar we stick in it, and it'll be while you're driving it. If you don't fucking find a way to lay on your back and do jack shit, fuck all, except defend submissions for 5 rounds.
Hey,
Well, how does that apply to this fight? That's what's going to happen again? Is she going to win?
No, I think we'll see a much better Irene Aldana, and she'll win. no. But I think that once that shit happens, Big Norm, come on, Big Norm. I remember Daniel Cormier calling her Big Norm, and it's in my head, Big Norm. And I think Big Norm's going to go in there and put a beat down on Irene Aldana. Again, it goes back to the Bahamondes thing: too gangly, too many holes in her boxing defense.
I'm done with DC eating during broadcast too. Like I heard him commentating.
Crazy.
I heard him commentating during one of the Contender Series fights. He's like, and here we go with another. And he's trying to get the barbecue sauce off his lips while he's like getting the breakdown of the knockout in there. And I turned it off. I muted it.
I thought you were talking about the weigh-in show, but yeah, he does eat during the broadcast as well.
Now the weigh-in show, I'll give him a pass. But if you're eating during the broadcast, brother, come on.
If you're not watching these weigh-in shows, I mean, it is nonstop comedy.
It is 100% every single one of them. Cancel them each for every sentence throughout the show all the time. Everything's taken a beat too far with these CTE boys at the weigh-in shows.
It's really because it's just Laura Sanko's presence. And once the Modelo gets rolling, or not Modelo, the Bud Lights now, once they start, and they're always drinking, you know what I mean? It's a cushy gig. But then they kind of make them earn it by, making them do all these little Super Mario, what's it called? Mario Party. They make them do Mario Party style mini games throughout the whole pre-weigh-ins. It's hysterical. I love it. I never miss it. I love it. I'm excited for this weigh-in show. And never take DC off of it. And never take Dan Kelly. What's his name? Dan Kelly?
The judo guy from like Australia?
No, Dan Kelly. He's like the football, hockey, baseball guy that they have. He's the football guy that they have. He's like not. He's the only
Helly.
Dan Helly, the Hellcat. The Hellcat.
Yeah.
Love the Hellcat. Love Laura Sanko. Love DC. They always have a fourth chair in, and it's like they'll have Bilal Muhammad. They'll have
Michael Chiesa.
When Michael Chiesa's never have Michael Chiesa there. I don't think they have had him there in a while. They had Michael Venom Page, I think, for when MVP was there. Dude, get MVP in all of the UFC content. He's great. You know what I mean? They had him there for the London card, but I want to see him there more. I love MVP. He's smart and he's fun.
Smart, funny, handsome, talented, fast, too. Quick-witted guy.
He beat Ian Gary.
Oh yeah, he beat the shit out of Ian Gary. He beat Ian Gary like a drum. Did you see? Oh, speaking of which, did you see Bilal Muhammad's?
Ian Gary be a wrestler.
Did you see Bilal Muhammad's post where it was Morpheus with Dana White's face on it, and it said Rachmanov and Rachmanov. Those are your options.
Yeah.
Yeah, dumbass. yeah. That's what happens when they don't like you. You're getting Rachmanov off the rip. If Leon Edwards won, they would have been like, Rachmanov, you got to get in there with Hamzat first.
I think he beats Rachmanov. How about that?
Hell no. You're crazy, dude.
I think he beats his ass.
That watermelon skull fucking Rachmanov, you think that he's going to lose to Bilal Muhammad? You're crazy.
Like Eve's dad in his corner when he was fighting.
Never faced any adversity. You got a guy who fucking eats adversity for breakfast and then spits it out. Says, "Give me more."
This
guy, he'll take him down. He'll strike with him. When has Bilal Muhammad been knocked out? Fucking
Vincente Luque.
Here's what I'll say.
Next question.
when it comes to Leon's road to the title and Bilal's road to the title, it's a little disrespectful that Rakhmonov is getting in there that quick. Rakhmonov deserves, because guess what? Rakhmonov doesn't have half the name that Leon did or Bilal did.
He's built great aura, Luke. He's built great aura.
But what are you going to do when he's the fucking champ?
Fight him against Khamzat Chimaev every
Right.
other
He doesn't
weekend.
even speak English.
It's fine. Nobody cares.
Luke,
No,
neither does Alex Pereira.
You need to get the steam coming out of his ears. You need to get what you need to do with Rakhmonov is, see, and the UFC does a really good job at this, and people never pick up on this. They make the fans care by putting guys who are the well-deserved contender at the back of the line, and they say, well, if you think he's such a fucking contender, watch his fights. If you think he's such a contender, follow him on
But Luke,
social media.
Rakhmonov hasn't had to have that because he is such a boogeyman, boogie monster that everybody's like, we want to see this guy against the top guys. Now it's just like Khamzat Chimaev. Even if Khamzat Chimaev didn't speak English, people would be saying the same shit. Because when you come in with all that aura, you're fucking taking out guys like Jeff Neal and, you know, the whole lot of the rest who he finished in the first round. Jeff Neal, he finished in the second or third. He's finished
like 5 seconds left in the fight. You know why? Because I took Rakhmonov by decision. I know exactly what happened.
He finished everybody he's ever fought. So he's got built-in aura that is going even before his UFC career. This guy has never seen a decision.
Well, here's what I'll say. Rakhmonov, the best thing for Bilal would have been if Jack Della Maddalena didn't get hurt and they crashed those two cars into each other, because neither would have come out ready for a title fight. And then you could have slipped Usman in. You could have slipped to Sean Brady. Sean Brady's going to come out and submit Gilbert Burns this weekend. You could have been like, all Sean Brady needs to do, beat Gilbert Burns emphatically, come out unscathed and say, I want Rakhmonov. I want my rematch. And now we got Usman versus
Bilal Muhammad.
All out Bilal Muhammad. Yeah. It'd be like,
I never heard no bell.
They my water in Abu Dhabi. Like,
Yeah. That's fair, but he needs one more.
I want to see him on my turf. I want the water from the American fucking sewer system. I'm tired of this fucking tainted Abu Dhabi water.
Bilal Muhammad.
It's a main event fight. You get a fantastic finish in the main event. Get that call out.
You're right about this, Dan. When you're main eventing and you win, you don't go down. You go to another main event, or you go to a title eliminator co-main event. And I think what happens is Sean Brady wins. He's got to call out Rakhmonov. He's got to step in the fucking way of Rakhmonov. He's got to call him out. He's got to say, and you know,
why, when you can call out Ian Gary and get an easier fight with more hype and get you the title shot that you want?
He will probably call out Ian Gary. Because
Rakhmonov is booked now. Consider Rakhmonov booked. He is fighting Bilal Muhammad.
I predict visa issues in his future. I predict visa issues, or I predict a very...
Do you think they are going to have the Prophet Bilal Muhammad fight anywhere other than Abu Dhabi, Luke? You're crazy. They're going to have Rakhmonov and Muhammad fight against each other in the Holy Land, and then everything's done.
It makes a lot of sense. But they can only have so many of those cards there a year. And I think we already have one coming up there with the Robert Whittaker and Khamzat fight. That's already.
Did you see Turki Al-Sheikh grip Dana White by his hand and drag him around like his bitch? He will have another one there whenever he wants. Like,
let me show you Superman issue 1. Come here. Let me show you. I have Superman issue number 1.
You like Mickey Mantle. I have every Mickey Mantle rookie card in circulation.
You like Mickey Mantle. I have Mickey Mantle on my mantle.
Oh my gosh. He definitely has the frozen fucking Ted Williams. He is frozen Ted Williams because he preserved himself with Walt Disney. Ted Williams on the Red Sox.
Well, you know why they even made Frozen? It's so that when you Google Disney Frozen comes up and not the fact that Disney is frozen.
When you look into it.
So,
learning a lot tonight.
Walt Disney Sphere presented by UFC Noche, presented by Turki Al-Sheikh.
And you know, here's what I'll say about Disney. I fucking hate the ESPN app. And the ESPN, I mean, and when you realize that, like, you know, when Dana first said, hey, you might see the UFC pay-per-views or the UFC have multiple networks having the rights. I kind of am coming around to that idea. I'm kind of sitting here going, I'm disappointed in the ESPN Plus experience.
You don't want that because
imagine
then we're in the same fucking position that we're in during the NFL season where Thursday Night Football, you need Amazon Prime Video. Sunday Football, you need NFL Sunday Ticket. Monday Night Football, you need CBS. So, like, it's all bullshit. Fuck that. No way. I would love it all consolidated into one. I would love it consolidated all into one monopoly that I pay the same amount of money for every month. And yeah, sure, raise it in a year or two. But if I buy the NFL fucking Sunday Ticket, I want to watch every single NFL game. It's $400, $600 for the NFL Sunday Ticket. I don't want to miss games on Thursday night just because Amazon wants to put their AWS analytics on the fucking game. That's bullshit.
Make it like the unlimited Epic Pass for snowboarding where on a certain day every year, I just chalk up the $600 and I say, I know I'm going to watch every pay-per-view. I know I'm going to watch every UFC fight. Let me get it at the cheapest rate. I'll buy it on the same day every year. And no matter where it is, I get it.
Fuck that. Like that. Epic Pass has blackout dates. They'd be like, UFC Noche, you need to pay extra money. It's at the Sphere. We're out 3,000 seats, Luke.
That's fair, but here's my thing. What I don't like, okay, so I pay for the listen, I don't mind paying the $10 a month for the ESPN because I already got Hulu, I already got Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, rope it all together, that's fine. But then, to just pay the $80 for the pay-per-view, and then like every time I go to log into my ESPN Plus, it's like it like fucks with me. It's like you have to reactivate
QR code, type in this all this bullshit.
I'm pretty sure I have two active ESPN Plus accounts right now. Because every once in a while, my girlfriend's like, yeah, I just got billed for ESPN Plus. I'm like, I have a yearly subscription to ESPN Plus. I think one of these times, my credit card expired on mine, and it's 10 minutes before the fight, and I'm like, fuck, give me your credit card. Like, you know what I mean? And I like bought another one, and I'm like, I'll remember to cancel, and I didn't. So it's like, I'm pretty sure I have, we need a little bit more clarity. In the day and age of AI and ChatGPT, it should not be this difficult.
Well, that brings us to our first ever sponsor, Rocket Mortgage, Luke. Have you ever downloaded the Rocket Money app and realized how many subscriptions you were paying for a day? I downloaded it and I canceled 14 this week, and you can too with the Rocket Money app.
Is it Rocket Mortgage or Rocket?
Rocket Mortgage bought the
okay.
Yeah, so now it's the Rocket Money app. Luke, you should read over the ad reads before we get on the show. This is highly unprofessional.
Listen, I just think it all should be a little bit easier. My biggest gripe, and I'm 31. I shouldn't feel old.
Fuck Rocket Mortgage. Just kidding. We do not have a sponsorship.
No ads. So my thing is this. Why is technology becoming more like I'm hip, Durka, you know what I mean? I'm down, you know what I mean? It's like, why is it that why is it that things are more inconvenient now? It's like, the big thing was like, oh, the internet, you don't have to have cable, unplug. It's way more complicated than just having cable now. It's like, why can't I would almost rather go back to the day and age where I just pay one fucking, thing and have everything. Like, I'm sick of everything being piecemealed. It's like, it's worse than ever.
Luke, little do you know, that's exactly what was happening when you would get DirecTV. You would be like, yeah, I want this package, and this package because it's satellite television, and it's not. it's not.
My thing is this.
You've had a satellite television your whole life. What are you talking about? You've never had cable television.
My phone feels slower. Everything just like. You go back to the day and
get a new phone. You have the same iPhone 6 because you broke your iPhone 10 and your girlfriend had to give you her old iPhone color 6C. What are you talking about? Get a new phone. Right. That's why your phone's moving slow. It came out in 2012.
If anybody watching this agrees with me, please just comment. It feels to me like my internet is slower. It feels like I don't even have the internet anymore. Like I remember you used to go to websites. And it was
I will tell you exactly why your internet is slow now, but I don't want to disclose that on the podcast.
Okay. Well,
you have to pay for premium packages to get gigabytes per second, my man. It's that simple. And here it is in the chat for you.
Well, like when I log into my computer these days, like I know things are supposed to be easier, but I'm just kind of like even something as simple as like making a new thumbnail for this podcast feels like the most. And I think it's just my own brain is getting dumber, honestly. Like, I hate to say it, but I think the 5G and long COVID and just all the clips we just had, I think everything is just affecting. What's it called? CERN. They hit a quark neutron particle, and all of a sudden we're in a parallel timeline. Like, I'm in a parallel timeline where like to log in and pay my electric bill feels like it takes a year off my life. You know what I mean? Like, things are supposed to be easy and convenient, but I have too much up here right now, and I have too much in here as far as like, dude, for example, my daughter's 2.5 years old. When I sit down and I think about going through the photos on my phone and organizing them, right? Like just organizing them, just going, okay, here's 0 to 3 months. Here's 3 months, 6 months. Here's 6 to 12. When I think about just organizing stuff, like Chris making albums, like Christmas. Oh wait, it feels harder than the fucking disposable camera era to like have
because
that.
Now you're screenshotting so many John Jones comments on different tweets and different Instagram posts that it's just clouded with so much nonsense. Winning bet slips, losing bet slips.
No, you're right. It's like there's too much. I have too many screenshots and too many things. Like, it's too much. I really feel like I need to take a vacation just to catch up with my life. Like, I need to take a vacation just to
Hawaii Lukey's coming
I have
back, man.
crypto
It's gonna
wallets.
be our show again. It's gonna be our show again, baby. Don't worry.
I have crypto wallets that I need to be like all I need to do is like find this book that I wrote the 9-word password in, and it's like I might be a millionaire right now. I don't even know. I bought some crypto, like it's gonna go on way up. I'm like, yeah, but like, how do I even get into my MetaMask wallet? I'm like, my MetaMask wallet, I gotta it's in a book. I gotta get the book, and then I open the book. Then I log into MetaMask. I enter the 9 thing. And now so now how do I get this crypto
with the MetaMask?
How do I get this crypto from my MetaMask wallet? How do I get it from I have these Hamzat Shemaev NFTs in my Soulflare wallet. I tried to log in. It's like, what's your password? I'm like, I don't fucking know. They could be worth $500 at this point. I have no fucking idea how I'm supposed to like figure all this out. I need like a therapist for technology, like somebody who I can just sit down on the couch and they go, tell me what your problem is. I'm like, well, my problem is that I don't know I don't know. Like, it's like, it's all very daunting.
We're all becoming old people at the age in our 30s. Technology is surpassing us, not me. I'm keeping up with the times. But Luke,
you couldn't even get connected to do this episode. You do this every week.
Preaching to you good people. We're supposed to be giving picks. Luke's talking about how he can't access his NFTs and he thinks he's a millionaire. So don't come at me, okay? I'm fine. I've been keeping up with the Joneses, keeping up with the technology. But old man Luke, look at the background of his.
It's terrible. I know, like
it's made of bricks.
When I think about honestly, yeah, I just need one nerd in my life that can be like, buddy, I got you. Like, I will pay if you're watching this. I will pay a $5,000 immediate $5,000 I'll give you right off the bat just to put you on what's the lawyer term? What's that lawyer term?
Retainer.
Yeah.
I will literally be like, here's $5,000. Tell me when that is up and just come to my house. We're gonna go through all this stuff. We're gonna get a camera. We're gonna someday this is gonna look a lot better.
Luke, but you brought up a great point. Block asset. CoffeeZilla, hello, where are you? Block asset.
CoffeeZilla, help.
Where are you? You're too worried about Crypto Zoo. We need you for block asset, okay? Stop getting it over your head with Logan Paul lawsuits and come here and take Hamzat Shemaev and fucking Darren Till for all they're worth with this block asset bullshit.
So listen, guys, that is why you need to pick Irene Aldana. That's why Irene Aldana is the pick.
I can see her stiff jabbing Norma Dumont to death. I won't do it. It's Big Norm and her big assets. Her block. It's Norm and her block asset over Irene Aldana's twiggy little twig self.
Let me just say this. I think that Aldana as the favorite now at -130, even after like one of the most embarrassing performances in a championship fight ever, and she's still the favorite, I think says a lot from what I'm looking at, I think, all right, Aldana, that was a horrible performance last fight, but due for at least doing better. You can only go uphill from there.
I think the reason for that is that wasn't her last fight, Dan. It was actually against Carol Rosa, and Carol Rosa has a pretty similar style to Norma Dumont.
How'd that fight go?
Irene Aldana won. I think that's why the odds are going in her favor, because people are seeing a lot of similarities between Carol Rosa and Norma Dumont.
There you go. So even more reason.
I'm gonna take the dog here again. Another ladies fight. I'm the bitch hunter, Bobby the bitch hunter. Call me that. I will be taking the dog in this one. Give me Norma Dumont by submission.
I just got word that both my groomsmen are coming to my wedding and leaving their fucking girlfriends behind. What a wedding present. What a wedding present.
I will not be leaving mine.
Three of mine are. What a wedding present. It's going to be a great night. It's going to be a fantastic night.
God, man, woman, dog.
Okay, I don't know. Dan did that and left. That's fucked up. I did not fucking
below the brow.
Below brow. Dan, that's
What'd I do?
Play dumb.
Not to be confused with my favorite show, Below the Belt.
What do you mean play dumb? What are you talking about?
I'm just throwing you under the bus.
Luke,
Okay.
Top 5 podcasts, Fighter and the Kid, Below the Belt, Golden Hour, Food Truck Diaries, and the car show. I don't know what it's called.
Toontown, a.k.a. Drive Fast All Gas, DFHE.
Before your time.
Whoa.
BYT. Said BYT before your time.
Okay. Is that your favorite?
What?
Your favorite podcast? Is that your favorite?
No.
It's BYT.
It was before your time, man.
Oh. I thought it was just like a name you call yourself sometimes when you're trying to be hip. Bit.
No, I'm never
Bit with a Y.
All right, so we got Daniel Zellhuber, the Zellhuber films.
Never gets old. Zellhuber unanimous decision for me, pretty straightforward. The Golden Boy.
Yeah. No, that makes
not to be confused with the Golden Hour. Great show.
Yeah, that's a
It's like, oh, that's your takeaway?
yeah, Zellhuber by decision.
I can remember a young Esteban Ribovics destroying both of your parlays by knocking out Terrence McKinney is in like 5 seconds flat with a head kick from hell.
That was 3 months ago.
And that's your takeaway?
Man, I haven't picked Terrence McKinney since he absolutely shit the bed against what's his name.
You were so high on him. You were like this
Until he shit the bed
pick.
against Drew
This
Dober.
was a slam dunk pick.
But we didn't know Drew Dober had that special ability until recently.
Yeah, well, I'm now saying you're right, because Esteban Ribovics is not Chris Giagos.
He's an animal. You guys are like,
No.
Zellhuber,
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying he's not Chris Giagos. Sometimes I mix up Argentina and Greece. Their flags are similar. So,
Why Argentina make it better?
to be honest with you,
Why would Argentina make it better?
well, no, because Zellhuber did fight Christos Giagos, and he beat him 11 months ago. And I'm almost thinking that, like, Ribovics is Chris Giagos. So I'm kind of like, hey, Zellhuber might actually fucking blow this here. Why do I not like Zellhuber? I'll tell you. His head is too small. He's got a chicken jaw. His neck is too long for his tiny-ass little head. Might as well be a fucking, little grape on a toothpick. This guy... He's got that V triangle body, his little tiny head. Meanwhile, Giagos, big fucking traps, big ass thick neck, strong jaw, doesn't get fucking knocked out. fought Loic Radzhabov, who I have the utmost respect for. Other than that, unblemished. Meanwhile, Trey Ogden gave Zellhuber what for? A fight that I think everybody kind of was picking Zellhuber. People didn't know Trey all day. Trey Ogden. Trey is kind of the man. Tough fight to call. I kind of am almost. I need to see the line on this, and I kind of think that if the value side is Ribovics, it could be
it is.
A party spoiler a little bit. What are the attributes here? Let's see.
Luke, are you sure you're not getting this guy confused with David Zawada or Dennis
I'll tell you what,
Seaver?
though. Here's the thing. Zellhuber's got an 8-inch reach. Zellhuber's got an 8-inch reach. I could see him kind of jabbing him to death here. I'm going to go with Zellhuber. I'm going to go with Zellhuber by decision, like I said at the beginning. I'm not going to second guess myself. And I got.
What if I told you Esteban Ribovics plus 180?
Not enough. But minus 200 on the other side is too much. This is a fight I want nothing to do with. It's a fight I want nothing to do with, but I can see Zellhuber kind of outspeeding him, out-jabbing him, staying on the outside, and if that doesn't happen, Jago's closes the distance and knocks his ass out.
Guys, Zellhuber is like 6'3". Or is that Iggy Bahamondes?
I'll look that up too.
Huh?
So Zellhuber is 6'1" if you're going off Tapology.
And Bahamondes is 6'3" at a lower weight class. How pathetic. Yeah, I'm going with Zellhuber still. Next up, we got the taco fight of the night. Diego Lopes versus Brian the Taco Ortega. Ortega sauce. Comedy. I'm going to go with Diego Lopes here. Like I said, it's Mexico's native son versus Mexico's adopted son. And I think that the adopted son gets it done in this one. The Brazilian native, but Mexico's chosen child, not the child they were given. Some say your friends are the siblings that you had the chance to choose. And Mexico chose Diego Lopes. They casted out Brian Ortega. They sent him back to America. Give me Diego Lopes. I think this is going to be a unanimous decision. I think Brian Ortega is too tough for his own good. His head is very, very large. Something that helps him, but hurts somebody later. It will keep him alive, that big head. Diego Lopes isn't a crisp sniper. He is vicious, but he is not a sniper. We saw that in his fight against not Rob Font, but Dan Ige. I know they are confusing, but they really aren't. One's Hawaiian and one's from Boston, right? Rob Font? Boston boy?
From Boston, yeah.
They couldn't be more different. But they're similar. I'm going to go with Diego Lopes. I think he's going to be longer. He's going to be putting on a boxing clinic in there. Brian Ortega is not going to be able to get it to the ground. I think 3 5-minute rounds favors Diego Lopes more than it favors Brian Ortega. And I think that Brian Ortega misses weight. He is already planning on bumping up to 155. He has said it. He has made it clear. He does not want to fight at 145 anymore. But this fight was made for Lord knows why. And probably because he's just trying to pay his Christian fucking youth minister that he was trying to pay in the last fight when he missed by 20 pounds and couldn't even fight. Give me Diego Lopes. Give me Diego Lopes emphatically. There's a reason Brian Ortega couldn't make it, and it's because of the tacos. And it was Labor Day weekend, baby. He had a lot of tacos.
Dan, before you say anything, hold on. Diego Lopes has been in Alexa Grasso's corner for all of her fights. Now they fight on the same card. Diego has said, I hope that I can get this fight done quickly so I can run back, run back, change clothes, get into Alexa Grasso's corner. Now, he also said, but I know how tough Brian Ortega is. I know this can be a war, which tells me he's in the exact right frame of mind for this, meaning he does not underestimate Brian Ortega.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens? What does Tito Ortiz say?
He says, I want to outlive my kids.
He says a lot of things, but one of the things he said that is true is prepare for
it was
worst.
never no marriage.
He says, prepare for the worst, and the best will always happen. That's a Tito Ortizism that actually rings true. So when it comes to this fight, I think that Lopes is preparing for the worst. Ortega, as you said, will probably miss weight. Ortega will kill himself to make the weight because it's a big card, big opportunity.
He'll cut his hair off just like Tracy Cortez.
She barely even cut her hair and was crying and made a whole thing to hold it up. Tracy Cortez is all but dead to me.
They even told her, put the hair down when you weigh in, dummy.
Yeah, idiot.
What was the point of cutting it if you're going to hold it while you're weighing it?
And you're fighting Rose Namajunas, cutting your hair, not even all the way off. You should have shaved that shit bald and not cried like Rose. So silly.
And then looked like a fine bald bitch, Amber Rose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a little derogatory, but I'll allow it. So my thing is this. I think Lopes gets this done in the first round. I think you're wrong, Alex. It's not going to be a decision. I think Ortega is, although Diego's name is Diego, Ortega is Diego Sanchez Jr. in that he's going crazy, dude. He's going fucking crazy. He's out here talking about churches. He's out here talking about phoenixes. I just watched Harry Potter last night. You ain't no Dumbledore, motherfucker. So Ortega, he's one of those guys that the UFC, he can do no wrong to the UFC because he's a demographic perfection choice. He's pretty blue eyes. He's Mexican but speaks English. He's a demographic dream for the UFC.
Modern day Jim Thorpe, some would say.
No, not at all. But what I'll say is he knows that he's never getting cut. He's like a Darren Till. He's like a Chris Weidman. He's like, the UFC will always look out for him. They'll always give him commercials. They'll always give him, UFC autograph signing at the Fan Expo, $50K to show up, all this type of shit. He is a kept woman. And when you're a kept woman, you don't have anything to fight for anymore. He, like Henry Gracie said, Brian Ortega has already won. When he was going into that fight against Volk, Henry said it best. He has already won. He does not need to win this title because from where he came from to where he is now, he already has won. So
Brian Ortega made a choice: the streets or jiu-jitsu. Brian Ortega made the Modelo choice: fight like a champion.
Yeah, and I like that, but I'm sick of the whole LA is tough to live in. Be from Detroit, be from St. Louis, Missouri. Did Joaquin Buckley make a choice? All these people who they're so LA it's not even the top 15 of hard places to live in the United States of America. It's a very easy place to live. You have a beach. Perfect weather. People move to LA to be homeless. It's the best place to be homeless. It's I once saw a video. The guy was like, oh, being homeless in LA is great. They give you a free phone. They give you food stamps. They give you money. You can sleep outside. What more could you want? It's a dream. I dream about being homeless in LA, and yet we were supposed to believe that because Brian Ortega gets to teach jiu-jitsu classes, he's living a fucking hard life. It's no, he's living a great life. Even Nate Diaz got a burrito. He's I used to only go to jiu-jitsu because the guys will buy me a burrito after. Guess what? I know guys who do jiu-jitsu and nobody buys them a damn burrito. So
that's a good point.
Hey, and you know what? When you wrestle, you know who's giving you a burrito after practice? They're saying, "Nah, you could probably make the weight class underneath you, and then we have a better guy up here than we do down there. So you might as well get your ass down there. Get in the shower with a trash bag on, loser."
It's you wrestle in New Jersey. My coach never said one nice thing to me ever. Ever. You know what I mean?
And I love him.
And I would die for that man.
Yeah.
I never ever heard it was the assistant volunteer coach who one time was you know what, Luke, you always show up, you always go hard in practice. And that was the best compliment I ever got. You know what I mean? You show up. And it's yeah, okay. It was never yo, you guys, you're doing a hard sport. It was always just you're not doing enough. You could be better. Why aren't you better? Why aren't you a state? It's guys, we're in a fucking really hard state to wrestle. I don't know. If I was in fucking Louisiana, I'd be a state champ, I was in Delaware, I'd be a regional champ for fuck's sake. I mean, if I
How
was
great
20
was it
minutes
when
that way, I'd be a fucking. If I was 20 minutes that, we had a kid on my team who was like a really good wrestler, but for New Jersey, wouldn't have made it out of regions. Went to Delaware, was second in the state. You know what I mean?
I had a kid who transferred to my school. He got third in Florida as like a freshman. He didn't even scratch the damn lineup. Like he was worse than 3 kids. he wasn't as good as 3 kids at that weight class. And he got third in his state. So we had 3 kids in one room that were better than him, and he only had 2 that were better than him in his state.
I can back that story, Alex, because I've heard of some stories of wrestlers from my high school, which, not a powerhouse, although we did send someone to the Olympics this year. But
who's that?
From Puerto Rico. I'll let you do the math there. I don't want to dox him, although positive coverage, I guess.
Well, I'm sure he has said where he is
public
from.
knowledge.
Before.
I mean, he's a
You
be doxing yourself. I mean,
Ethan Ramos, tremendous wrestler, wrestled for the Olympics this year, representing Puerto Rico, but wrestled in my high school. But outside of that, not anything. Again, not a state powerhouse, but you hear of like these tournaments or like these camps that they have in the summer, and they go down to Florida and they like beat the state champ. It's like, did you even make counties? Like, did you place in counties? Beat the shit out of the state champ from Florida, So it's weird, the demographics, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, and they have their own Olympic team.
Yeah.
It's kind of bullshit. Should be fucking bringing them medals back to us.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah. We don't need it.
Hey, either pay taxes.
We don't win. We don't need it. We win anyway.
Well, they like it because they get the best of both worlds. They don't pay the taxes, but they get the protectionism and everything else. And
Trump throws you a couple fucking
on the paper rolls,
the paper towels. Trump throws you the paper towel.
So we had the worst wrestling year of our career in terms of freestyle for the men, but I think the women did really, really well.
Because Kyle Dake couldn't get it done.
Somebody tweeted in 2019, they were like, New Jersey is basically Dagestan, because in 2019 we had 6 out of 10 Big Ten champions.
This is my burner account. I already know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So
anyway, Irene Aldana is going to win the fight.
All right, we're both going Norma Dumont. But New Jersey is Dagestan. Wait, no, we were 3 fights above that, dude. What are you talking about?
No, I'm just kidding. We're on the
okay.
Ortega and fucking Diego Lopes fight.
You've Lopes?
That was literally all of Luke's segment right there.
Oh, okay.
of talk time. I'm going to go with Diego Lopes. The stock is rising too high. And you know what? With Luke was talking about, Ortega, with the recent weight misses, outwardly speaking about not wanting to be at 145 versus a kid who's as hungry as they can possibly come.
He's always been a greedy little bitch.
Yeah, maybe. I just think it's I even think I picked Ortega on the last podcast because this is a retread. But after the weight cut miss, I just think Lopez wants it more, man. It comes down to that sometimes.
Dan, what's your Super Bowl prediction?
Birds by 40.
To who?
To the Ravens.
I agree. I think the Ravens are going to have a great season.
The Ravens are the new Cowboys.
No. You just think that because you are in the Baltimore area and everybody likes the Ravens, so you think, oh, all you people aren't from here and you like the Ravens because you never change your perspective.
No, he's not saying that people like them. He's saying that they have high expectations, but they never quite get there, but that they do well enough.
And they have a quarterback problem.
No, they don't.
Oh, well,
no,
you're
they
off
don't.
there, but
no, they don't. They literally have the best case scenario. Dan, can you imagine having to choose in a read option between Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Could you imagine having to choose which guy am I potentially going to get blown up by, or my ankles getting broken by?
You know what
Trust
that
me,
reminds me of?
I'm a
You know
big
that
time
reminds me
football
of?
guy. I
Reminds
did
me
the
of-
draft this weekend, and although the ESPN app says I'm not going to make the playoffs, I think I'm gonna. I think I got a great team, so I know all about football.
How many teams are in your league?
10.
Okay, perfect. I want to check your team after this. I want to compare some notes.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah, we'll stay on a little bit after, since we're finishing up early tonight. Okay, so we have a fight that is apparently the fight. I mean, Tapology is always wrong, but they have this as the fight after Ortega versus Lopes. Maybe that was partially due to Diego wanting some time to get into Grasso's corner. So they got Ronaldo Rodríguez versus Ode Osbourne as the fight before the flyweight fight. I mean, not to insult this guy who's only got one fight in the UFC versus a guy coming off 2 UFC losses, but this feels like the go get a beer fight for the audience in attendance, right? It feels like they have a big marketing package that they paid a lot of money for the co-main event, and they're like, if we have Diego Lopes versus Brian Ortega, a fight everybody wants to see, as the fight before Valentina versus Grasso, everyone is going to get up from their seat after that fight is done. They're going to walk to the beer stand, walk to the bathroom, walk outside to smoke a joint, and the UFC's big marketing package that they paid $1 billion for is going to go completely unseen by the audience in attendance's eyes. So they put a fight before Lopes. So and they're going to say, oh, it's so Lopes can get back in time to do his thing. But that's not why. Lopes is going to finish Ortega in the first round. He'll have plenty of time to fucking shower, put a shirt on, come out with Alexa Grasso. This fight is there so people can take a piss. No one knows who Ronaldo Rodríguez fucking is. No one cares about Ode Osbourne anymore. That's my thought on this fight.
Yeah, I mean, Ode Osbourne, he's chinny, he sucks, he has low IQ, he's very one-dimensional, he gets knocked out or he gets a knockout, and I don't think he lasts much longer than a round. I don't even have to know much about Rodríguez to make that claim, okay? Because do you remember the night that Brian Kelleher knocked the fuck out of Ode Osbourne when Donald Cerrone and Conor McGregor fought? And that was a surging Ode Osbourne who had all the potential in the world. Got on the fucking, ESPN stuff and was like, I know I'm young. I know that, I'm the next Conor McGregor. I'm so happy they put me on this card because I'm about to make quick work of this guy. This guy sucks. Da-da-da-da-da. And Luke was like, yeah, he plays the ukulele. But I think this was even before we started the podcast, this fight. I think we were in the Proconos at this time watching that fight. It was a great night. Great night to be a part of the boys before.
No, we were in the Poconos. Yeah, you're right.
Cowboy Cerrone coming on the black horse. Great promotion. I was like, oh, this is going to be a banger.
My birthday weekend, I believe.
Before we had even started this perfect parlay pursuit, I believe I was the only one to have started the perfect parlay pursuit at that point.
Yep, it was a week before my birthday, 1/18/2020. Right, man. You know what's funny about that? That was McGregor versus Cerrone, January of 2020. Man, a different world, right? A different
4 months
world.
before we started the podcast.
3 months before we started the podcast. 3 months before we had the pandemic. What a different world.
Yeah.
This is
so
3 summers.
Like I said, that guy sucked. I don't give a shit about what Rodríguez's pass is. I don't care if he is the worst fighter in the world. If he is marked down as a Jay Ellis type, who I love a Jay Ellis, I think he knocks Ode Osbourne the fuck out because Ode Osbourne is chinny. Ode Osbourne is in here to do a job, just like an Aoriqileng who has gone in there and done the job before and quit too early. But I don't think Ode is the guy who knows that he is going to be the guy who is put on a plate for someone. I don't think he knows yet. Still, Rodríguez is going to go out there, knock him out brutally. I'd be surprised if this gets finished in the second round or the third.
Yeah,
I would be surprised if this goes past the first round because Ode Osbourne is chinny, he is skinny, and he is not long enough to play the Israel Adesanya game that he plays.
I wouldn't really call him chinny, but I would say he is finishable. He's got only 2 knockout losses, and they're to, Tyson Nam, who hits like a fucking freight train, and Manel Kape, who
Tyson Nam on 4 losses in a row, I believe. He knocked him out.
And honestly, before I knew who Manel Kape was, I think I picked Ode Osbourne to beat Manel Kape. But, of his 7 losses, he's been submitted 4 times and knocked out twice, Ode Osbourne. So, yes, 4-5 in the UFC. Probably a keep your job fight, if not the one after this. I think that you're right 100%. Ronaldo Rodríguez only has 2 losses, and they both are by decision, never been finished. One was a split decision. The other one was against common opponent Jerome Rivera, who did lose to Ode Osbourne. But I think that's
your favorite fighter ever, Jerome Rivera.
What?
Your favorite fighter ever, Jerome Rivera, one of your goats.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I think I just mistake Jerome. I don't know. I mean, Jerome Rivera. I think he was a prospect who didn't fly the coop or flew the coop, But lazy boy Ronaldo Rodríguez. I think you're right, Alex. The main stat I like here for the people at home watching, the main stat I like. Fuck the reach advantage. I don't care that he's got an 8-inch reach disadvantage against skinny Ode Osbourne. I don't think Ode has the stopping power to knock this guy out. He's Mexican. He's got an iron chin. 25, never been finished. That's not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about for Ode is, although he's only 32, there's a 7-year age disparity, and this fight is at flyweight. 32 is old for a flyweight. And yes, Ode is lanky. He is skinny. He makes the weight probably easier than most at his age, but I'm agreeing with you. I think this is a complete setup job for Ode to walk in there and get demolished by somebody they're trying to build up, hence the high card placement. Why wouldn't they put Zellhuber higher up on the card? Why wouldn't they put Bahamondes higher up on the card? Raul Rosas Jr. It's like, no, this is like I said, it's a filler fight, but it's also let's get a new face at flyweight. Mexicans have been notoriously, Spanish speakers, South Americans have been notoriously popular at flyweight. Whether you look at Cejudo, whether you look at Moreno, whether you look at Pantoja or Figueiredo, there's a lot of is Pantoja a flyweight?
Yeah, but he's Brazilian.
But no, South America. I'm saying South America.
Mexico is North America.
Mexico is South America. So
Mexico is North America.
Is North America.
So
don't you know NAFTA, boy?
Mexico is South America.
Mexico is North America.
So then what's Canada?
North America.
So Canada and Mexico are both North America. That doesn't seem to make much sense. What's Central America then?
Mexico.
The trap.
Mexico is Central America, but it's not. It's not a continent, Luke.
And by the way,
continent.
Central America is like Costa Rica. It's like
Mexico too. Mexico too.
I'm looking at 2 guys.
Mexico is not Central America. That's North
Central America is not a continent. You dumb fucks. No. Shut the fuck up, you dumbasses. Central America is not a continent. Central America is the space in between North America and South America, where they are kind of blended in cultures. You dumb fucking swine. That is Mexico, Guatemala,
you're the one
all
who
those
said,
countries
Mexico,
are Central America.
Mexico's part.
When I go to interrupt you, stop.
North America, yes, Dan, but Central America is part of North America. You dumb fuck. Look at a map right now. Look it up, dumbass.
You look it up. So listen,
look it up, dumbass.
It's funny that you're calling us a dumbass when your fellow, you're a by trade. I mean, you may not be a teacher, but you went to school to be a teacher, and you're calling Ode Osbourne, former teacher, low IQ. About that.
Fight IQ.
Well,
and idiot, box of rocks. I think a lot of teachers are dumb idiots because
and alcoholics. But hey, that's a conversation for another time.
No, it's not. It's a conversation for right fucking now. All the teachers are lazy pieces of shit. Teachers deserve to be paid less, as far as I'm concerned. After seeing teachers in action, they don't give a fuck about anything. They're just getting their check. They're spewing out nonsense, and they don't care.
Hear me out. Pay teachers less, right? So that way we have all these unemployed teachers. Because right now, I don't know if you know this, but nannies and au pairs, people from South Africa, people from fucking Brazil.
I know what an au pair is. I'm not uncultured.
So all pairs are making, I mean, I know an au pair making $55K a year. And it's like, that's more than a lot of teachers make. So my theory is we pay teachers less so that more teachers leave the profession. We have less teachers in the public school system, which Rockefeller, look it up. Rockefeller said, Rockefeller invented the public school system. He said, I want a nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers.
When you look into it,
so I think we pay teachers less. We get more teachers in the free market, and we say, hey, our sister, a teacher. I hope to see a future where my 2.5-year-old daughter becomes 5, and my sister is so disenfranchised with the public school system that I'm rich enough off these parlays, off these goddamn parlays, that I can pay her, 50, 60, 70K a year and say you're her full-time tutor. And think about this, Dan. You have a kid coming up. If you do, I'm saying, if you have a kid, say I have a kid, you have a kid.
I have a kid. Where's my kid?
Let's say we all have kids. We could each go 30K a year. Nothing, ain't nothing. And then we pay some teacher who doesn't want to fucking be with the classroom of 25 kids beating them up every day. Pay them 90K to just teach our 3 kids what we tell them to teach. Dinosaurs are fake. The moon landing never happened.
John Jones is the GOAT.
John Jones is the GOAT. Rule of 3 for comedy. We'll stop there. You get what I'm saying, though. So, all right. We're going with Rodríguez, right? Everybody?
Yes.
Triple P certified not only Diego Lopes, but Ronaldo Rodríguez. Ella gusta porque estoy pepepe. Alexa Grasso, Valentina Shevchenko, co-main event. It's the 3rd time these two are fighting. The first time Alexa Grasso choked her ass out. Second time it went to a draw. Valentina Shevchenko said that was only because that fight was in Mexico, right? That's what she said. She said that's only because that fight was in Mexico. They gave her the decision. That was UFC Noche. It was at the T-Mobile Arena, but I mean, it was in Las Vegas, Nevada, but they billed it as UFC Noche back then. Or am I looking at the wrong one? No, I'm not. Valentina Shevchenko laying out some, I like what Chael Sonnen says. Valentina is a heel pretending to be a face, and she needs to have that heel turn, kind of like a Joanna did. The only problem, Joanna, when she turned heel, it was when she fought Rose, and she was like getting in her face, and she's like, I am the boogie woman. You are fucked. You're gonna lose. And she was like, Joanna really knew how to play the role. People kind of misunderstood what Joanna was doing there. She was being she was making her fights more interesting. It was really great to see. Shout out to fucking Joanna Jędrzejczyk. In my opinion, Joanna's the female GOAT. That's my female GOAT, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. So to me, this is a fight that is taking place at 125 pounds. This is a fight where there's a 5-year age gap. This is a fight where one of them is 36. This is a fight where one of them has already been called the GOAT and has already had the
gravitas.
She's had her Super Bowls, right? She's had all her Super Bowls, and her fights, against Talia Santos, for example, 2 years ago was a split decision. Then she loses to Alexa. Now it's a split decision. When you rematch in a championship fight, the younger fighter wins and more dominantly. So I can see Alexa Grasso, even though both of those fights seemed a little almost fluky, right? It's kind of like the reminiscence of the Weidman-Silva fight, right? First time, fluke. Second time, fluke. Well, what would have happened if they fought a third time? I don't know, but it seems almost like let's keep crashing our car into the same fucking wall and expect the airbags to come out. They're not going to come out. I'm going with Alexa Grasso here. But I will say this. Shevchenko is as petty and bitter as Israel Adesanya. If anybody... Are you guys frozen? Am I frozen?
No.
Oh, you guys were just both fucking frozen. I was like, what the fuck?
No, sorry, I got a work message.
If anyone is as petty and bitter as it comes, it's fucking Valentina. And Valentina really could play spoiler here. Think about this, Dan, and I know people have gone both sides with this, but they say, in a game of inches, and the UFC is a game of centimeters, it's really hard to repeat the same successful result. But the stats would disagree with me. But in my opinion, it's almost like, give me a chance to throw a bullseye, I might miss. Give me 3 chances to throw a bullseye, I'm gonna fucking hit it eventually. You know what I mean? Like you gotta eventually you gotta kind of look at that. So I'm going with Alexa Grasso, but I'm worried. I'm nervous. It's not a bet. It's not a bet fight for me. This isn't the one I want to bet. I want to bet a lot of them, but not this one.
I'm gonna bet the over on this one. I'm gonna pick
over what? Over what? Over what? Over your dead body?
If they set it at 2.5, I'll place it there.
What if it's 4.5?
4.5?
That's crazy.
It's a little rich. It's not too rich, but it's a little rich. It's a little rich. Purposes of the show, we got to go Alexa Grasso. I understand the dark game theory, but I understand the old woman theory. I understand the old athlete theory. And I understand that Alexa Grasso, I think, probably won the second fight. So we got a fighter who's won both the fights in this matchup. The younger fighter, the home turf fighter, everything. It's just leaning towards Alexa Grasso here. What is the odds? We got Valentina coming in at how big of a favorite, Alex? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I honestly don't know who is a favorite. I have been taking the method of picking my fights before seeing the odds, so I don't get swayed.
Oh, well, aren't you so pretentious? Good for you, Alex. Okay, Alexa Grasso is the favorite.
Well, Dan, because I actually was the one to coin the phrase, it doesn't matter what the odds are. It's about what's going to happen. So I think about what's going to happen before I look at the odds. And then
let me stop you there. That's some amazing BPP lore going on there. The coin, commonly a phrase to Lukey CK, evidently actually coming from the younger Padawan, the younger brother, Alex the Under King.
The one who started gambling on the UFC first, who could have coined the phrase beforehand because Luke only started when the podcast started. But that's besides the point.
Luke is very
I actually have a bet. I bet on Khalil Roundtree. I bet on Khalil Roundtree before you were 21 in one fight. I had one bet that I ever placed before the podcast started. It was
Prove it. Prove it.
Receipts are needed.
Prove it.
Right, I'll prove it.
Here's what's needed for this, though. I do have to give the fans some odds here. We got Alexa Grasso minus 115, Valentina Shevchenko minus 105. Absolute straight pick 'em. Taking Grasso. Alex, on an island or triple P certified?
I am triple P certifying Alexa Grasso by way of Mexico. If you remember Valentina Shevchenko, she thought she won that last fight, and she said, if we did not fight on UFC Noche, I would have won this fight. She only won this fight because she in Mexico.
A lot of excuses.
Well, Valentina, did anybody fail to mention you are fighting her again on UFC Noche? Because you were in the same exact predicament where, the UFC wants the Mexican to win. And luckily in the main event, both of them are Mexican. So we don't have to worry about that. But I take Alexa Grasso by way of being Mexican. And yeah, I think it's a decision win. I don't think she catches Valentina again. But I'm going with Alexa Grasso here. Don't care what the odds are. I care about what's going to happen. And if this goes to a decision, the books are cooked, ladies and gentlemen.
DraftKings doesn't go back that far. They won't show.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I'll email them.
You definitely didn't bet before 2017, ever.
I don't know. Let's see. I bet on Khalil Roundtree against somebody. But anyway, so what do you go?
Yeah, Anthony Smith two months ago. Okay. Oh my
Are we
God.
what's it going on?
Sorry, guys. Sorry for the Teams messages. Anybody who's getting anxiety from that because they have Teams messages at work, I sincerely apologize, because when I hear that, I feel the same exact way.
Cool AOL IM messages, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who I bet on. I got to look it up. You probably did, Alex. It's all good. But anyway, okay, so we all go with Alexa.
Yeah. How about that main event?
The main event. This is the most interesting one, everybody. You waited long enough. Let's break it down. 18-1, Sugar Sean O'Malley versus 17-4, Merab Dvalishvili. UFC 306, 29-year-old Sugar Sean versus 33-year-old, almost 34, Merab Dvalishvili. Merab coming off an impressive win streak. He beat Henry Cejudo by decision. He beat Peter Yan by decision. He beat Jose Aldo by decision. He beat Marlon Moraes by knockout. He beat Cody Stamann by decision. That's his last 3.5 years. And meanwhile, in the same time, Julian Paiva got knocked out by Sugar Sean. Peter Yan, split decision. Aljo, Merab's mentor, got KO'd by Sugar Sean. Marlon Vera, unanimous decision 5 months ago from Sugar Sean. This is an interesting one. 5'11", Sugar Sean, 5 inches taller than Merab Dvalishvili. And Sugar Sean, always height shaming, but you're not 6 foot either, Shug. So you're not 6 foot. You damn sure ain't 6 inches. You only got one of the three, 6 figures. 4-inch reach advantage for Sugar Sean. This is interesting to me because, in my opinion, Sugar Sean is not, it's funny that Aljo kind of threw a stray bullet at Dricus Du Plessis for the way he strikes when he ran into Sugar Sean's punch as if he's Forrest Griffin fighting Anderson Silva. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like you looked 10 times worse than DDP with your bullshit striking against one of the most sharpshooting strikers in Sugar Sean, right? The only thing that would make Dana White more annoyed than all the talk he's getting about John Jones, Aspinall, the only thing he would make him more annoyed than, Bilal decisioning Leon in London, the only thing that would make him more annoyed is for Merab to come out with the championship win, taking Sugar Sean down 50 times in 5 rounds. To me, if there's anybody in the division that can test Sugar Sean in the areas that everybody says he's most vulnerable, the wrestling, scooping up those skinny little twig legs, picking him up high over his head, walking him to the other side of the cage, dropping him in front of his corner, it's Merab. Now, I do see Sugar Sean hitting the switch, getting the underhooks, getting to his feet. He's tall. It's hard to keep these tall guys down. It's hard to control them when they got so much going on. And Sugar knows exactly what he needs to prepare for, right? Sugar doesn't ever really seem to, in recent fights, like gas, like against Merab, like he was right in there in the 5th round. I think Sugar Sean has, everybody says, oh, Sugar, his body. I think he's got the right doctors. I think he's got the right kind of pedigree. I think he's got the right gas tank. I think he's got the right things going for him. I liked Sugar when he was the underdog. I think, here's what I think. I think Sugar's watching a lot of game tape. Merab got dropped by Cejudo, I think the same way that he got dropped in another fight that he had coming in and check left hook. I think I could see Sugar really piecing him up, creating some moments, dropping him, and the ref stopping it. Merab being upset with the stoppage. I think that Georgian chin is, rock solid, and it would be kind of foolish to think he's not going to come in here more motivated than ever and not get knocked out. But if I close my eyes in a dark room, the one outcome keeps coming to mind, and that's Sugar Sean. And I've picked against Sugar Sean before. I've been wrong before, but I don't know. I mean, I think there's great value either way, no matter who you think's going to win. You're getting them at a pick 'em kind of price. Is Merab going to be able to do enough with the wrestling in today's scoring system to get a convincing win in the judge's mind? Or is Sugar going to be landing constantly good damaging shots? Even if he does get taken down, will he still win rounds? Is Merab going to be able to take him down, keep him down, do damage, get a submission? I don't think so. I think Merab can get him down. Yes, I think Sugar Sean pops back up. Merab is not a Khabib style or a Bilal Muhammad style fighter where he takes you down and keeps you there. He requires so many takedowns in a fight. It's going to wear on his gas tank. It's going to keep him coming forward. I think Sugar Sean is a sharpshooter. He's a sniper. I think that in Merab's efforts to constantly need those takedowns, he is going to end up eating a lot of shots. I think he's going to wear damage. I think he'll have moments. I think it'll be a fun fight to watch. But I see Sugar Sean getting his hand raised at the end. I'm not as confident as I was weeks and weeks and weeks ago. But my official pick, Sugar Sean O'Malley. Beg me to take an outcome, Sugar Sean by knockout. I've seen Merab dropped. I think Merab pops back up after he's dropped. But I think, especially if the refs mark not so goodard, Merab gets dropped. He dives for a leg. Sugar Sean hits him with those hammer fists. The ref calls a stoppage. Sugar Sean's walking away like nothing ever happened. I'm taking Sugar Sean. I'm taking Sugar Sean by KO.
I'm gonna double that. I'm gonna put the pressure on Alex, see if he triple P certifies. I also like Sugar Sean. I like it by decision, actually. I see a lot of comps with the Peter Yan fight. I think Peter Yan could possibly be a better wrestler in this circumstance, this fight with Sugar Sean, than Merab might be. I feel like Sean might be more equipped for a wrestler like Merab, where he can spam those takedowns. You know, Merab's not a big-time control guy. He gets the takedowns, but he gets 25 in a fight. So guys they're getting their space there. And I think Sean will be able to create that space and land a lot of blows just throughout 25 minutes. Don't think he gets the knockout, though. I think it's going to be Sugar Sean by decision. That's the only caveat I have differentiating from Luke.
Yeah, Triple P certified Sugar Sean O'Malley. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes the day-to-day job gets in the way of this fucking shit. And if you want that to change, then you got to start putting money in our fucking pockets. And that's it. We don't have a Patreon anymore.
We do. It'll be up and running soon. It'll be up and running soon, guys. Sorry about that. I'm going to get the Patreon back up and running soon. I had to, it's like the Patreon will be back up and running soon.
So go to the Patreon, patreon.com/perfectparlaypursuit. You want me to stop having to answer work messages during the fucking podcast? Get on to patreon.com/perfectparlaypursuit, and you can support these boys in doing what we love and doing what you love to hear us do. I'm going with Sugar Sean O'Malley. I'm going to Triple P certify Sugar Sean O'Malley. But, Dan, I'm going to agree with Luke. I think Sugar Sean O'Malley hits the button. I kind of buried the lead here a little bit, where one guy, his big head will help him. Brian Ortega's big head will help him stay through the fight. Merab's big head will help end the fight quicker because Sean O'Malley is very precise, a sniper with all of his shots. Merab has been rocked by Henry Cejudo. Who was the other guy? Marlon Moraes. He got choked the fuck out in his first fight in the UFC by Ricky Simone. So I have to go with Sugar Sean O'Malley. I have to go with the guy who has proven that he can pick his shots, stay up as long as he doesn't break a foot or fucking ankle. He can stay on his feet. The only guy who took him down really was Andre Sukumtoth, and that was when he had a broken foot, right? So, and Cheeto Vera when he had the broken leg.
Took him down.
Huh?
I think Peter Yan took him down.
Peter Yan too, but Peter Yan's really good. Peter Yan is very sneaky with the Muay Thai trips in distances that you wouldn't necessarily have to worry about a takedown. So Peter Yan has that X factor of like, yes, Sugar Sean O'Malley is going to play the plum clinch with you, and you can, work your momentum and trip him real easily with a Peter Yan. But Sugar Sean O'Malley, if he gets in a plum clinch with Merab Dvalishvili, is pushing off right away because he has great ringmanship, great IQ, And the only times he's been taken down, yes, Peter Yan potentially. I forget that fight. That was a drunken haze for me. But fucking, homeboy Chito Vera and Andre Sukumtov, two guys who he broke lower extremities during that fight. That's the one thing you have to worry about. He's kicking against a fucking strong Georgian, and he's got those weak, brittle bones. But he's no longer a vegetarian. He's sitting here. He's not a vegetarian. He's a vegetarian.
I'm watching highlights. Sugar got Merab down too, or Sugar hit Peter Yan with a nasty little duck under. He shot in for a takedown, took it back. In wrestling, it's 2. In wrestling, he had him for 2. Maybe not in UFC, but and when Yan did get him down, he got him down a couple of times.
And that was a war, man. That was Sugar Sean O'Malley's toughest fight. And some would say Peter Yan has gotten a raw end of the deal in this UFC game. He is. And a trip. I rate him a lot better. I rate him. Shout out to the MMA guru. I rate him a lot better than he's rated, Peter Yan. And I feel like everybody does. I feel like all the hardcores look at Peter Yan like this guy should have been a champ at one point, but was robbed. Bullshit, yada, yada, yada. And even didn't they rematch him and Aljo, and didn't he kind of win 3 rounds, and it was kind of like up in the air and everybody didn't really know who won, and Aljo ended up taking the belt?
No, I think the second time was pretty decisive. But I think the first time up until disqualification, he was beating the hell.
It was dominant Peter Yan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was an Aljo truther, and I did pick him in both of those fights. But I will say Peter Yan is one of the best guys to be in this division. Like, if we're being completely honest about some of the people, like, what do we have? Jose Aldo fought 135, did he? No, he was 145. So we have Dominic Cruz, TJ Dillashaw.
Fighting bantamweight now, Aldo.
Aldo is fighting bantamweight now, but he was never champion.
No.
So we have greatest fighters at that weight: Dominic Cruz, Aljo, Uriah Faber, TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah.
Like in reality, like if you even want to throw Uriah Faber in there, his heyday was in the WEC. So how much can we really throw into that? But I mean, Peter Yan's up there. Like, you should throw Peter Yan in that top 5 if you're not throwing Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo or Peter Yan, although they didn't never take the title. But yeah, I think Sugar Sean O'Malley snipes Merab. Merab's been rocked a bunch, and he will never be rocked as hard as Sugar Sean O'Malley when he lays left right to that temple.
I love it. And, I will say this, just watching some highlights from the Yan versus O'Malley fight, Yan was able to get his hands locked, take him down, get a trip, take him down. But the thing is, he had to worry a lot more about Yan striking.
Yan's good at everything. Merab's good at one thing.
And the fact that O'Malley was able to create enough space, threaten enough submissions, get back to his feet in each of those times kind of tells me he's only gotten better since then at that, and he's going to be preparing more for that kind of fight now than he was with the Yan situation.
And how many times did Aljo take him down?
0.
Okay. So the one time he faced a guy whose only path to victory is wrestling, that guy never took him down. Yeah. When he faced a guy, Peter Yan, who can mix everything up better than, he's like, and I hate to draw this comparison, he is Demetrius Johnson level when it comes to mixing things up, giving you different looks at all times. He's a little bit too much of a slow starter, and that's why he fell in some of those 3-rounders that he probably shouldn't have. He is the most well-rounded fighter. Him, Jose Aldo, Uriah Faber couldn't hold a candle to either of those guys. Yan, Jose Aldo, fucking TJ Dillashaw, don't even throw Cardi Garbrandt in there. Huh?
And Demetrius Johnson, yeah.
And Demetrius Johnson. Those are guys at that round weight class who could mix it up crazy. Mix it up.
Brandao.
And fundamentally and technically look like
if you said Wilson Reyes, Dan, I would have given you a little credit.
Like technically, like when you see Jan hit a sick little trip or a sweep or a back take, like or a combination, like every guy you just said, Dillashaw, Demetrius Johnson, they are so well rounded and everything looks so technically perfect, right? I mean, you know, you could almost give Corey Sandhagen a nod, you know, in that regard.
No chance.
Well, the Umar fight, he was very technically perfect. Where Corey lags is sadly
too technically perfect.
Yeah, and like he doesn't have this enough. Corey Sandhagen is a white boy. You know what I mean? He's an American white boy compared to every other one of those guys has the speed, and by boy, I mean,
and notice TJ Dillashaw was on that list.
Like,
TJ Dillashaw was on that list. Guys,
know?
TJ Dillashaw is another American white boy who just did it a little different.
He didn't play basketball. He wrestled, is what I'm trying to say. He's a combat sports white boy. Whereas Sandhagen is a late to the game American white boy. You know what I mean? But those other guys, Aldo, like athletic soccer playing type guy who does everything very technically proficient and can hit it with speed and dynamicism. And what's the word I'm looking for? He's very, like dynamic. He's got that dynamic.
Aldo's going to beat the shit out of Jonathan Martinez. Just let the record show.
Corey Sandhagen doesn't have the quick twitch. You know what I mean? He's technically great, but there's a lag time between guys like him, guys like Jan, guys like, you know, that just do it instinctually. You know what I mean?
More of a Spencer Lee than a Roman Bravo Young.
Yeah, I mean,
how about a Matt Hughes? I would take like a Matt Hughes white boy.
Dan, did you hear the recent conspiracy theory about Matt Hughes?
No, what is it?
He used to have his brother weigh in for him. They're twins.
Oh, that's a good one.
And now he's got
that's awesome.
I used to.
We think it's true. I know nothing about this.
Well, here's the thing, Dan. Here's why I believe it. Here's why I believe it full-heartedly. I went to high school with twins, and on the classes that the one twin was better than the other, they would switch out for the tests.
Dang.
How crazy is that? The identical twins, not the fraternal.
Sister. Okay, I did the whole thing.
Dan, it's a shame the friend that we know that's a twin, it's a shame they couldn't switch out because they're both equally fucking dumb.
Hey, but one might be smart at one and one might be smart at the other. And as long as they can and as long as they can lace up for the Friday Night Lights, who the hell cares?
That's funny.
All right, well, that's the full card. Let's go through our full picks top to bottom and give everybody these
Luke, before you do that, NFL preview, who do you think goes to the Super Bowl?
Ooh, okay. So fuck, man. And listen, I'm really not the one to ask because I didn't do any like preseason.
Never took the field.
No, that's not why. I'm saying that
never took the field of combat.
He never did either. He really never took the field of combat and never took the field of football either. So I'm the only one over here who's taking the field. I'm the only one here who's taking the field of combat, boys. I'm the only one who's proven myself on the battleground. So
didn't you play?
That's not true. That's not true. I was on the field of combat. You were never on the field of combat, Alex, either.
Dan,
so
what
combat?
Hey, Dan,
football, buddy.
What combat sport did you ever play?
I played football. You did not.
Oh, well, here's the thing. You actually don't play combat sports.
On a match.
You actually don't play combat sports, and you know your fragility is showing because you played games when you were a kid, and I actually just like went head to head with the hardest.
You had your little rules.
I'm like Terrence Howard over here.
Getting knocked out. There's no rules on the field of battle about getting knocked out unconscious in American football. Okay.
Yes, there are. He said these are called concussions. It took a guy from Kenya to tell you what a fucking concussion was. Alex. It took a guy from Kenya. Hey, in combat sports,
valor by wearing that jersey. By the way, stolen valor.
Hey, Dan, in combat sports, we knew what a concussion was for many decades now, but it took a guy from Kenya to tell you what a fucking concussion was. You were like, yeah, we're seeing stars, coach. We're going back out there.
I don't know who you are, and stop asking dumb questions.
We got a lot of Trophy certified picks for the Sphere, boys. We got a lot of Trophy certified picks that I'm seeing.
Circular, the Sphere.
See,
It's a full circle.
On
It's a full circle. Maybe it's a full circle ending to Mexican combat in totality.
All right, Alex, since you're incapable of answering who your picks are, I'll start it off. I'm going to go with Sean O'Malley.
No, wait. No, we're talking about football real quick. We're talking about, he said, what's the Super
I
Bowl?
wanted Luke's predictions. I want yours without the Eagles. Don't put the Eagles in it.
All right, no Eagles. I'm going to go with my fantasy quarterback to take the Green Bay Packers to the Super Bowl against the Baltimore Ravens. J Love. It's all love, baby. It's all love.
Luke. Against who, Dan? The 49ers?
The Ravens. Ravens.
Okay. Oh, yes. Yes. Packers are NFC. Sorry. Okay. Personally, I think it's going to be, if it's going to be not the Eagles, of course, go Birds. Of course, we think we're going to win the Super Bowl every year, bro. Come on. I would go with the Ravens or actually the Ravens and the Texans are really like one of the two, and then I got the Niners. I think the Niners are just like hands down roster for roster best team in the NFL.
I think the Las Vegas Raiders will be in the Super Bowl this year.
That's crazy.
Hold on, let me see what the odds are.
Yeah, bet it. Just bet it. Just bet $10 on it. You'll win $17,000.
How do I get
$1 million? You'll win $1 million, dude.
Where's the Super Bowl being played this year?
I don't know, but the Raiders quarterback is Gardner Minshew.
No. Oh yeah, it is. Little boy.
NFL
Max
Sao
Crosby.
Paulo. It's like they got the UFC NFL Sao Paulo with the Eagles game. Let me see. NFL.
That is crazy. That is one question I wanted to ask Eric Anders. Just like, hey, any advice for the Birds before they go to Brazil?
You know what I would ask? And I'm going to ask. How about some financial advice for the people out there? Because all these fighters are bitching and moaning about fighter pay and everything else. I heard this guy has 15 properties. Okay, and he's making some good money. So how about some financial advice? So, what was Nick Saban like? Was he mean? Yeah, we all know Nick Saban was mean and like a good coach. How about we?
No, Dan. Okay,
life that the jobs he actually gets paid for, not stupid ass college football. How about we ask that? How
Dan,
about we
he
ask
got
that?
paid for that.
Hey, what was it like fighting Lyoto Machida Super Bowl weekend when everyone was thinking about football? And you're fighting motherfucking Lyoto Machida, a legend, in the main event.
Did he win?
He did.
Okay. So ask him, how does it feel? And Dan, let me give you a little journalism 101. Say, how does it feel that you beat somebody who drinks their first piss every morning?
I don't even know that he did win that.
I think he did.
I don't think.
I hope he did. And even if he didn't, it doesn't fucking matter. He didn't get knocked out. I know that.
He lost to Lyoto Machida by split decision in 2018.
Well, I think he won.
So he won.
But here's the thing, Dan. What we should be asking him is, how many main events have you actually been in? Because since UFC Fight Night Machida versus Anders and UFC Fight Night Thiago Santos versus it's like how many title contenders or former champions have you actually main evented in against? Because this is now, he's
no, Eric Anders is the most decorated, undecorated guy you'll ever come across.
I agree. And,
he has fought the who's who of every weight class. And on top of that, he went against the heavyweights of the SEC and he won a national title. And Dan, you say this, but last time Eric Anders was on and I was asking about Alabama, I think you and every other fucking idiot MMA journalist thinks the same exact thing where they're like, I'm like, boom, I'm just going to ask him like how it felt to like fight against such a legend as Lyoto Machida. Yeah. Eric Anders, how does it feel to fight against Lyoto Machida, the legend? You're one of his last fights on his career. And it's absolutely amazing. Fuck you, Mike Boom. No, you ask him, you say, what do you think the shape of Alabama is right now? I mean, we got Kalen DeBoer right now. What's the vibe going in there after having such a figurehead of Alabama as Nick Saban? He was there when you were, winning your national titles. I think you guys were one of the first ones you won.
Luke,
so
take control here. Take control.
We have 3 shots to ask him questions. We better have some really good ones lined up when he finally gets it.
I do. How about I not talk about the school, the institution that did not give him a job after he helped them with said national title?
He doesn't need a goddamn job.
He works for himself.
No, he was looking for a job with them. They wouldn't give it to him.
You want to ask him about?
I want to talk about the organization that gave him a job, that pays his bills right now, that's making him relevant and a legend right now. Not fucking Alabama.
You want to ask him for financial advice when he just gave up abusing drugs a year ago?
Yes, I do, because that's quite impressive. He was abusing drugs and still making money more than half.
Dan's trying to figure out how he can use drugs and still make money.
Well, listen, I got my Super Bowl prediction.
Go ahead.
The Super Bowl this year will take place between the 23rd ranked team, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Los Angeles Rams. Rams versus Raiders in the Super Bowl.
Sweet.
That's my prediction. The Rams and the Raiders are going to be in the Super Bowl together.
I'm glad Luke actually looked up this year which side each team was on to make sure that
you have to do that. You knew I did have to do that.
Giants, Eagles.
Usually he would be like, I got the Chiefs and the Raiders. I love the Raiders, and I know the Chiefs are going to be there every year.
And, I was going to actually say the Vikings. Something told me the Vikings would be in the
Luke, no, you had it right. You had an NFC team and an AFC team. I wasn't busting your balls, mate.
No, I know, but I'm saying I was going to say the Vikings of the NFC,
don't pick
NFC
the Vikings.
North, who were in the NFC North, by the way. I can name
Luke,
the whole
thing. I will give you
NFC West.
X that, Luke, X that out right now. X that out right now.
No, I won't be able to know. I don't know.
I will give you $100 if you could name every team in every division. If you X out of that right now.
That's not possible. And $100.
It's 100% possible. Dan could do it right now.
For how little I know about that, I would deserve $1,000. There's like one that I know, and that's the Eagles division. It's like Eagles, Giants, Redskins, and fucking Cowboys. I can name you that. That's what I can name you. That's about it.
Hey,
maybe by process of elimination.
You're an eighth of the way there, Luke. You're an eighth of the way there.
Exactly. I would have to get so you should give me $700. You should give me like 100 for each of the other ones because I would not be able to tell you. I know the Packers and the Bears are in the same one.
Okay. Who else?
I know rivalries. You know what I mean? Like I could give you the rivalries.
Who else is the rival of them?
If the Raiders don't make it, it's the Dolphins. Dolphins, Rams.
Not the Chiefs. Not the Chiefs.
That's played out. They've been there the last 2 or 3 years.
Not the Bengals.
Anybody could have told you that. I'm giving you Dolphins, Rams, or Dolphins, Raiders.
Impossible.
All right, then Raiders, Dolphins.
Oh wait, did you say Rams Raiders or did you say Dolphins Raiders?
I said Rams Raiders, Dolphins Raiders.
Impossible.
Well, in the championship before the Super Bowl, then they'll be playing each other.
Okay, fair enough.
Man's Raider.
In the either AFC or NFC championship, they will play each other. Whatever one they're both in. I don't know. Okay,
AFC.
Cool. We got this, and we can do this now. I think I pretty much have everybody's picks down, but go ahead and let's run through them real quick. If you're going with me, top to bottom, you're going with Sugar Sean O'Malley, Alexa Grasso, Rodríguez, Diego Lopes emphatically, Danielle Zellhuber, Norma Dumont, Yasmin Jauregui, Manuel Torres emphatically, Raul Rosas Jr., and Edgar Charez.
Alex, I already rattled off my picks. You're up.
I didn't get yours in. You got to do them again.
Oh, my God. All right. We're going to top
O'Malley,
it.
Grasso, Rodríguez, Lopes. Did you take Zellhuber?
Hold on. Let me just go through. I'll just do it again. We got O'Malley.
Van Rose. Go ahead. Sorry, I was
Shut
kidding.
up. O'Malley, Grasso, Rodríguez, Lopes, Ribovics. We got Aldana, Jauregui. We got Bahamondes, Rosas, and Van.
All right, you're rolling with me. Get in the van, motherfucker. Raul Rosas Jr., Manuel Torres, Ketlen Souza, last minute switch, keep us off the PPP. Big Norma Dumont, Danielle Zellhuber, Diego Lopes, Ronaldo, Rodríguez, Alexa Grasso, and Sugar Sean Mosley.
And if you're going with the Triple B certified picks, Sugar Sean O'Malley, Alexa Grasso, Ronaldo Rodríguez, Diego Lopes, and and Raul Rosas Jr. So we got 5 Triple B certified picks out of 10. And just remember one thing: Diego Lopes, he can do anything. Christian Bale, he can do anything. I need to find what episode Joey Diaz said. He's like, who would you pick to play this guy? And he's like, Christian Bale. And he's like, why? And he goes, he's so high. He's like, because he can do anything. That's how I feel about Diego Lopes.
No, but that's how I feel about Christian
Speaking of,
Bale.
Dan, did you watch The Prestige yet?
No.
You gotta watch The Prestige.
Next episode, Dan Bittman's full review
Oh, geez.
of The Prestige. Full review, start to finish. I want it like a mystery science theater type. Maybe we watch the whole thing
There's
together.
only so long before I can not spoil the surprise in The Prestige for you. So like you gotta, or like because it's a magic trick. So it's like a magic trick. Like I don't want to.
I'll find the Prestige. I'll find which.
And speaking of which,
you I have access to. I can watch the Prestige, and we'll get it popping. We'll get it going. I'll break down the Prestige for you guys. I'll probably show angles of the Prestige you guys never even probably thought of. How about that?
I've watched that movie.
Doesn't
80
matter if
times.
you can make something disappear. The trick is, can you bring it back?
All right. Should I do a magic trick?
Yes. You got one?
Yeah, I got one on lock. Let me get $1. 2 seconds.
Okay, go ahead. Guys, this is a very special bonus content for you. Ooh, I'm excited. I'll give you a little thing about the Prestige. Nikola Tesla is in the Prestige. Not the real one. He's a character in the Prestige, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's very historically accurate. Like it takes place in like reality. Like it doesn't take place like Hugh Jackman, Christian Bale, Michael Caine.
Highly doubt it has anything to do with history. I bet it's baloney.
Dude, it's literally like definitely I would say like the Prestige, Cloud Atlas, Lord of the Rings, Twin Towers.
So hold on. Let me stop this because this is actually a big moment. Let me break the fourth wall here. Cloud Atlas. We saw in theaters together. How many times since we saw that movie together have you seen it since?
Like once, and I bet it won't. I bet it will not hold up.
Movie.
No, I'm kidding. But I'm saying like that was a good movie, and like I bet it won't hold up if I watch it again. Almost guarantee it will not hold up.
Yeah, probably not.
But I remember leaving and being like, "That was an amazing fucking movie."
Yeah.
Are you ready to be deceived, my lads?
Let me see your
Hold on, let me keep
So look at this. Ready? Just a regular old stack of cards, right? Nothing behind. So what you do is you fold this up, right? Make sure it's really, really fine and fine-tuned, you know. You take this, you make sure you fold it up in half, fold it up in half one more time, right? All right. Full screen off of me. I'll keep my hands right here, you know, in front of everybody. In front of everybody. I haven't moved a thing. Dan, you know the magic word I told you before this podcast. Kidding. Dan, say the magic words.
Abracadabra.
Hold on, let me blow this motherfucker up real quick.